A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Well, Jane Ace feels that her maid Laura has learned enough French. So the Marshes have been invited to dinner tonight. Jane got Laura to learn her French from Nanette, the Marshes' maid. The Aces still don't know that a diamond bracelet disappeared from the Marshes' home the night the Aces visited there, and that Mr. and Mrs. Marsh accepted this dinner invitation only so that they could bring along a private investigator who poses as Mrs. Marsh's uncle. Dinner is over, and we find them all in the living room. Listen.
Well, now, let me see. You insist on a bridge game, do you, Mr. Marsh?
I think so, unless somebody has some better suggestion. What do you say, Mrs. Ace? You suggest something else?
Well, I'm not very suggestive. I'll do what everybody else wants to do. Well, then, it's free.
Very well, Mrs. Marsh, but we'll have to cut in, I guess. Let me see. How many of us are there?
Oh, Uncle doesn't play.
No, you just cut me out. I just as soon watch.
Well, if there are too many, I'd just as soon sit on the sideline.
No, Marge. You're going to play.
Well, if you insist.
Oh, I do. But you sure you don't play, Miss Collins?
No, now you go right ahead. Don't mind me. I'll find something to amuse myself.
Uncle's easily entertained. He doesn't mind.
Well, if you're sure.
Oh, absolutely. Go right ahead.
Well,
how about Mrs. Ace? She's going to play. That'll be 5. We'll play a cut-in game.
No, I don't think Mrs. Ace cares to play. Do you, Jane?
Well, not if you've got 4 already.
Well, we have 4. Marge and I will play Mr. and Mrs. Marsh.
Oh, we're going to play a set game?
Yeah, we'll probably go set every game.
I resent that.
It'll probably be the other way around.
Well, we'll see. Jane, get Laurie in to set up the table.
Who?
Get Laurette in to set up the bridge table.
Oh, that's that. Yes, I'll call her.
Yeah.
You play much bridge, Miss Hale?
Well, no, not these days.
We play all the time. We just can't get enough of it.
Oh, really?
Laura?
Have a cigar, Miss Collins.
Oh, thanks. Don't mind if I do.
I'm afraid this is going to be a dull evening for you.
No, please, don't think about it.
Well,
Laurette, set up the bridge table, say-vous, please. Over by that big lamp, Laurette.
I think there's some cards here in this desk here. We haven't had a card game here in so long.
Yes, everything's there. I looked this afternoon, dear.
Oh, yes, here they are. Score pads and everything. Say, this is fine.
Right here, ma'am. Is this all right, ma'am? What did you say, Laurette? Oh, right here, madame. Yes, that'll be all right.
Yes, that's fine.
Oui, madame. Excuse me.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Sit over here, Uncle. You'll be out of the way.
Well, thank you. Now, don't you worry about me. I'll find something to keep myself occupied.
I'd offer you a book if you could read in all this noise, Mr. Collins.
No, thank you. I'll be quite all right. I like to wander about. Now, don't go wandering off to the house as you always do. Well, I might. You can never tell.
Hey, these cards aren't as young as they might be.
Oh, we only play with them once, dear.
Well, they look like they've been through a war.
Oh, they're all right. Let me see. Are there enough kings and aces?
Oh, so that's the kind of a bridge player you are. Kings and aces.
I'm Creole, my dear. Well, where's everybody going to sit? That'll be all, Laurette. I'll call you if I need to, Laurette.
Suppose we sit this way. Is this all right, Mrs. Marsh?
Oh, anywhere's all right with me. Yes, this is fine. Well, shall I get you a pillow for that chair, Mrs. Morris? No, this is fine, thank you. But you look so stupid. I mean, bent way down like that.
She thinks you look a little stooped over there, she means. I think that is a little low for you, Mrs. Marsh.
No, this is fine. I'm quite comfortable.
Mrs. Ace, you going to sit behind me for lunch?
All right. Do you want me to, Mr. Morris?
Do I?
No, I asked you that.
I certainly do. Here, let me turn this chair a little.
Well, thank you. Well, don't bother about me. You just go right ahead and play. Now, how much are we playing for?
Oh, anything at all up to 1/10 of a cent.
I think 1/10 of a cent is enough. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes, that suits me.
Oh, that's what it is. That's plenty. Shall we cut for deal?
Oh, why not go ahead and deal if you like? It's all right. Here, Mrs. Marsh, you can get this deck ready.
Now, Party, you'll have to take it a little easy with me. I haven't played in some time, you remember.
Don't worry, Marge. You just hold the big card. That's all you have to do.
Oh, I want it understood. We can't play any later than 4 o'clock. It can we, Mary?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock? You mean 4 o'clock in the morning?
Say, that reminds me of a story I heard this morning. It seems that a very large department store owner, one of the biggest in town, got a phone call from a woman at 4 o'clock in the morning. The butler answered the phone and told the woman that the man was asleep and couldn't be answering phones at 4 o'clock in the morning and hung up on her.
That's awful.
Not yet, Jane.
Oh.
But she kept calling back. In fact, she called back so many times that finally it awakened this department store owner, and he wanted to know what was going on. Well, the butler told him that this woman had been calling up, and he says, what does she want? Well, the butler said, I don't know. She just wants to talk to you. Well, he said, I'm up. I might as well talk to her. So the owner gets on the phone, and he says, yes, madam, what is it? And she says, today was my little boy's birthday. He's just 8 years old. And the cutest child, she said, we got him a bicycle at your store, and honestly, we have never seen him as happy. He's never enjoyed anything as much as this bicycle. I just thought you'd like to know. And the owner said, well, that's nice to know, and he's glad the child liked it, but why call up at 4 in the morning? And the woman said, it just came.
It just came.
That's awfully cute, Mr. Grace.
Well, that really is one of the best stories I've heard lately.
Well, I think that's terrible, keeping an 8-year-old child up till 4 in the morning.
No, it's...
You shouldn't tell stories like that, dear. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Marston?
Yes, well, I'm sorry I said anything.
Nonsense. I thought it was a swell story.
So did I.
Yeah, well, let's get going here. You dealt, Mr. Morris?
Yes, I'll be right with you. I'm arranging my cards here. Let me see here. I'll be just a minute.
Oh, Mr. Marsh, do you put the spades in the middle that way?
Jane, will you please?
Jane, you shouldn't say that.
It's all right. You didn't get the hand raised.
Well, it just struck me kind of funny. I always put the spades on this end here like this, and then the hearts next, and then the diamond.
Jane, would you mind if you...
And when I have one of something like this, why, I always kind of hold it out sideways a little.
Jane!
What?
What are you doing?
Oh, that's all right.
Well,
yes, I didn't say what the one was.
Jane, suppose you just be a silent kid.
Well, now, that won't be any fun for her.
Well, Jane, I know. Why don't you keep Mrs. Marsh's uncle company? He's not playing.
Well, all right. Oh, well, where is he?
What?
Yeah, where'd he go?
Oh, I suppose he wandered off.
Yes, he's always wandering about the house.
Well, where did he go? I better go find him.
Oh, my dear, don't bother.
Oh, it's no bother. Excuse me,
But
please.
wait, Mrs. Hayes, you were going to bring me lunch.
Well, you've got a good hand. You go ahead and play it. I'll be back. I wonder where he went. Mr. Collins? Mr. Collins, where are you, Mr. Collins? Oh, here you are. I was wondering where... Well, what are you doing out here in the kitchen?
Mrs. Hayes, I've been talking to this girl of yours.
Laurette?
Yes, or whatever she calls herself.
Whatever she... Laurette, what happened?
I couldn't help it, ma'am. He asked me so many questions.
Questions? What kind of questions?
I think you know what I've been asking her, Mrs. Hayes.
No, I don't. Laurette, what did he ask you?
Well, he started asking me things, and I kept saying, oui, monsieur, and things like that. And pretty soon...
Yeah, pretty soon I found out she wasn't French at all.
Wasn't French at all? Oh, Laura.
Well, I couldn't help it, ma'am. He got me so mixed up about my name that
Laura, you spoiled the whole thing.
Yes, I'm afraid her little game is up, Mrs. Hayes.
Game?
Yes, I think she understands that I know what's back of all this disguise.
Beg pardon?
Don't you, Laura?
don't I what?
Oh, come on now, young lady. We may as well get this over with.
Get what over with?
What do you mean, Mr. Collins?
Well, isn't there something you want her to tell me, Mrs. Hayes?
Oh, she already told you. Why did you do it, Laura?
Well, he kept asking me so fast.
I only asked her about this French accent she was trying to use. There's something else I haven't come to yet that might be of interest to Mr. and Mrs. Marsh out there.
Oh, you're not going to tell them, are you, Mr. Collins? Oh, don't tell them.
Not yet, you mean?
Yeah, don't tell them yet. I'll tell you the whole thing if you won't tell them about it. I'll tell you why she did it and everything.
Oh, a confession, huh? Well, now we're getting somewhere.
Yes, I'll tell you everything. Only please don't tell Mr. and Mrs. Marsh about it yet. Not tonight, anyhow. It'll be so embarrassing.
Yes, I can see where it would be. But after all, Mrs. Hayes, you must realize my position.
Beg pardon?
Oh, come now. Surely you realize that I just didn't wander out here into the kitchen aimlessly. Here. Maybe this will make it clear.
What's that? Are you a policeman?
Well, not exactly. I'm a private investigator.
They can't send me to jail, can they?
Hush, Laura. Everybody will hear you. Oh, Mr. Collins, I promise you I'll tell you everything some other time, but just don't say anything in front of Mr. and Mrs. Mars.
Well, now, after all, I have to report to them what
you don't have to, do you? You said you're a private investigator. Can't you just keep this private? Anyhow, not right now. They're playing bridge, and everything's going off just like I wanted to.
I understand, Mrs. Ace, and I'm willing to listen to reasons. Of course, you know I have only one object in view. As long as I get back
if we stand here talking, they'll think it's kind of funny because I came out here to look for you. I'll tell you tomorrow. I'll tell you the whole thing if you just won't say anything tonight.
Tomorrow? Well, I don't know.
Oh, please, Mr. Collins, not now.
So how about this girl? How do I know she'll be here tomorrow?
Laura was sure she'll be here, only she won't be French anymore.
Yes, I wouldn't advise keeping up that disguise now.
Well, she won't, not after tonight. I just don't want Mrs. Morse to know.
I think I get you, Mrs. Ace. And I'm depending on you to see that Laura's here tomorrow. And you know.
Beg pardon?
Well, do we have to call names, Mrs. Ace?
Well, if you have to tonight, call her Laurette, will you please? I don't want them to find out.
Yes, but I'm talking about tomorrow. What time tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow morning, if you want to.
I'll be here. And I'm depending on you to have this young lady here.
She will, honestly.
If she's not, I'm going to have to hold you responsible, Mrs. Ace.
Oh, don't worry, she'll be here, and then the three of us can talk about it. I'll tell you exactly why I did it.
I might bring a fourth.
Beg pardon?
I say I might bring a fourth.
Oh, not Mrs. Mars.
No, I don't think that'll be necessary at this time, but tell me, Mrs. Ace, about this girl of the Marshes, Nanette.
Nanette?
Yes. She's mixed up in this, too, isn't she?
Well, yes.
Aha, I thought so. I thought that she and this girl here were taking these long walks for nothing.
No, they weren't. Nanette is the one who taught Laura everything.
I see. I'm not surprised. I had it doped out, something like that. Well, then, tomorrow, Mrs. Ace. And, about that bracelet.
Bracelet? You're not going to handcuff them, are you?
Well, I hope I won't have to. It depends, Mrs. Ace. Tomorrow morning.
Yes, tomorrow morning then, Mr. Collins. And we're afraid Mr. Collins is going to be a baffled investigator when he brings this little group together for what he thinks will be the solution of the crime. We learn about that when next we meet the Easy Aces.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, End as a World by F.L. Wallace. But first, hear this.
When the place is fine and the time is right, when the moon is low and the stars are bright.
You make it Pabst, 'cause Pabst makes it perfect.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect. Just as we always have ever since 1844. So next time, you make it Pabst, because Pabst makes it perfect. America's Blue Ribbon beer from the Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect.
Now, X minus 1 and End as a World.
I saw it on the doormat in the front porch. The boy had made a lucky throw, and the paper was spread out neatly on the doormat facing me as I came out of the screen door. The headline was black across the top. They used the big type, the kind they use for presidential elections or when the town all-star Little League team won the national championship. I stood and looked at it through the screen door. I hadn't quite rubbed the sleep out of my eyes, so first all I saw was the little boxes of the screen. And then suddenly my eyes snapped into focus and I read it. This is the day the world ends.
Pete, come in and eat your breakfast.
Well, just a minute, Ma.
Now, you leave the newspaper alone. You can read it later. Come on now, the eggs are getting cold.
Yeah, but Ma, it's today.
Well, what's today?
Well, look at the headline. It's the only thing on the front page. Well, look.
This is the day the world ends. Oh, that. Well, world's end or no, I won't have you eating cold scrambled eggs. Now, you sit right down and eat your breakfast.
I brought the newspaper into the breakfast table. I turned to the sports page. The Dodgers were winning or losing, I forget which, and UCLA was strong and was going to beat everybody they met that fall. An H-bomb had been tested in the middle of the Pacific, blowing another island off the map, just as if we had islands to spare. Ordinarily, that would be on the front page, but not today.
Now, don't get the newspaper in the egg yolk.
All right, Ma.
Want some toast? Peter, do you want some toast?
All right, Ma. It was Saturday. Big things always seem to happen on Saturdays. I ate breakfast and got up. I had the usual things to do, like mowing the lawn, for instance, but I skipped it that day. There wasn't any use mowing a lawn on a day like that. I went out remembering not to slam the door. It wasn't much, but it showed thoughtfulness. I went past the church and looked at the sign that was set diagonally in the corner so it could read from both streets. There it was in big letters, quoting from the papers. This is the day the world ends. Dr. Davidson scheduled a prayer meeting for the calculated time. It was a bright day. People were out walking or just standing looking at the sky. It was too early to look up.
Hey, Pete! Pete, here you are. Catch!
Here. Hey! Who showed you how to throw a football? Hey, catch this!
Hey, nice pass. Here you are, lateral.
I got it.
Here, throw me a long one, huh? I'll run out on that button hook.
No, look, I don't feel like it, not today.
What do we do? Oh, listen, the new issue of Popular Rocketry came in down at Grover's.
Yeah, I saw it.
Well, we could go down and see Howie.
All right.
Pete? Peter?
Hey, your mother wants you.
Yeah, what is it, Ma?
Now, don't go too far. I've got some things I want you to do.
What?
I want you to help me move some trash out of the basement and help me move some of the potted plants around in front.
Ma, what's the use of doing things like that on a day like today?
Never mind. Now, you come back by 11 o'clock, you hear?
No.
Come on. Howie's probably down at Grover's. Hey, look at this high hurdle. I'll go right over the sign. Here I go. Olympic star Paul Smithfield.
He went up over the sign easily. Paul's on the track team in high school. I looked at the sign again as he went over the top. This is the day the world ends. They never said more than that, not in the newspapers or in the signs painted on the brick walls. They wanted it to hang in our minds, something we couldn't quite touch, but we knew was there. We walked along down Green Street toward Grover's.
Oh, what do you think of it?
What?
You know, today.
I don't know. What about you?
We got it coming.
Yeah, but will we get it?
I don't know. Hey, look. It's going to be nice and bright today.
Yeah, it is now.
Might cloud over.
Yeah, it won't matter. It'll split the sky when it comes.
Hey, you hear the new song? Some disc jockey wrote it. I love you, love you.
Hey, sounds awful.
Now listen. I love you, till the day the world ends. I love you, till my heartbreak mends. And a lot more guff like that.
You know, it seems awful. I mean, making a song on a thing like that, you'd think they'd have more respect.
Well, why shouldn't they cash in on it? How about that contest on TV? What will you do on the day the world ends? In 25 words or less.
You know, some people would do anything for a buck.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd have some, I don't know, some understanding of how important it is.
Well, they do.
You should see the souvenir stands on Main Street. You know, pennants saying the end of the world, stuff like that.
That's disgusting.
Grover's has an end of the world Sunday. Joey Tripp had one last night. It was really the end.
Yeah, he's a pig.
Yeah, it sure is. Boy, it was really something. With nuts on top.
You're listening to End as a World, tonight's attraction on X-1. Careful planning and sensible driving add up to an enjoyable vacation trip. There are a few tips from the National Safety Council that should help make your trip a pleasure instead of a tense, nerve-wracking time. Before you leave, have the car given a thorough checkup to be sure it will always respond properly to your careful control. Check the emergency equipment you'll need, such as a first aid kit, keys, permits, identification, flashlight, tire-changing equipment, and your unexpired driver's license. Plan your trip for frequent rest stops with a good night's sleep each night. And then on your trip, pay attention to the job at hand and don't daydream. Stop off the road to see the sights or read the map. Be prepared for winding and straight roads, level and hilly roads, and changing traffic patterns between urban and rural areas. Obey all speed limits, traffic signs, and signals, and keep your distance behind the driver ahead. This vacation is what you've been waiting for all year. Enjoy it with sensible driving. Now back to X-1 and End as a World.
We went on to find Howie. He's a little guy, but he can throw a football further and faster than anybody else on the team. Howie was carrying a model of a rocket ship, carbon dioxide powered.
Hey, let's see the model, Howie.
Doesn't work. Well, what'll we do? I don't know. We could play Salucci.
No, we left the football over at Pete's.
Oh, might as well just sit down on the grass.
Okay.
Hey, I wonder if it'll really come.
Yeah, where will the president watch it from? He should have a good view from the White House.
No better than us right here.
What about Australia? Will they see it over there?
They'll see it all over.
Africa, too. And what about the Eskimos?
Doesn't matter whether they actually see it or not. It'll come to everyone at the same time.
Yeah, how about that? Everybody. Not just in this town, but all over. Wherever there are people and even where they're not.
You know what I keep thinking about?
What?
I keep thinking about the man who made the H-bomb. I bet he felt silly and spiteful blowing up an island. I mean, somebody might have wanted to live on it if he just left it there. You know?
Yeah, bet he'd feel pretty small with his old H-bomb after today. Pow.
My mother's over at the church praying.
And what for?
She just said that's what she wanted to spend today doing, right up to the last minute.
Yeah, all the churches are holding prayer meetings.
Town board wanted to close up that carnival on Pearl Street. You know, the one with the cooch tent? They said it wasn't dignified for today.
They close it up?
Mm-mm. The manager said he had his license, and he didn't care if today was the day the world ended or not. He was putting on 5 shows right up till it happened.
Funny idea, those girls dancing and then, whoom, it happens. And nobody to look at them anymore.
I can't understand people. Shows and lawns and cleaning the trash out of the cellar on a day like this, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, people get used to doing certain things.
Yeah, but today?
Even today. Well, that's how people are, I guess. Just gotta keep on with what they're doing, even if it doesn't make any sense.
Now, we talked about it for a while, but we talked it out long ago. There was really nothing new we could say. Every once in a while, we'd look up at the sky, but it wasn't going to come until it got here. Finally, I went home for lunch.
Now, you sit still and eat your lunch.
Oh, Ma.
It'll happen without your help. It's going to be all right.
You think so?
I think so. I'll give you your allowance now.
Yeah, but, Ma, it's only Saturday. I don't get my allowance.
Well, I'll give it to you today anyway. You might as well spend it this afternoon downtown.
Gee, thanks, Ma.
All right, I won't keep you over lunch. You can run uptown and watch it from there.
Okay, Ma. You gonna go?
Of course I'm not. Why should I get into that mob? I can watch it just as well from here.
Ma, sure she could. It wasn't the same. Everybody I knew was going to be there. I changed my shirt before I left. I took a rag and wiped the dust from my shoes. I wasn't trying to be fussy or dressed up or anything. I just thought I should do it. I walked uptown slow because there was lots of time to kill. There was shade and sun on the streets and a few big clouds in the sky. I never knew how slow a day could pass. I suppose I should have slept late in the morning and kept busy doing something. Well, this was worse than putting on a uniform and waiting till game time. At least there was a coach on the field to let you know what to do as you ran through the drill. I ran into Paul at the corner of Cross and Chestnut.
Hey, you nervous?
No. Why should I be?
You're not in suspense? Only we had some way of knowing for sure. Radio, maybe.
Oh, there's no radio. The calculations have been checked.
Yeah, but maybe there's something we forgot or don't know. A lot of things can go wrong.
Hi, fellas.
Oh, hi, Howie.
You want to go down to Grover's and get them molded?
I don't know.
Well, we've still got lots of time. We won't miss anything.
We all went down and had malteds at Grover's. The television was on. They were showing a street in India with people looking up. They flashed all around Italy, China, and Brazil. Except for their clothes, it wasn't much different from here. They were all looking up.
Well, let's get outside.
I haven't finished my malted.
What's the difference in a day like today, huh?
I want to finish my malted.
Outside, I noticed there was a slight overcast. The big billowing clouds had passed, but this was worse. I hoped that it would clear away in time, not that it really mattered.
Hey, it's a pretty big crowd for a Saturday, huh?
Well, this isn't a usual Saturday.
What time is it?
I don't know. You got to watch, Paul?
No. We can see the clock on the merchant's block from the corner. Come on.
Hey, it's Ginny Wexelberg. See her over there?
Hey, how'd you like to spend a day with her? That'll really make it a big day, huh?
Oh, you don't need that old Ginny Wexelberg to make this a big day. After today, a blind 15-year-old kid isn't going to seem so important.
After today, nothing's going to seem important, huh?
Well, there's the clock. We still got plenty of time.
We just walked around. A few other kids from school passed by, and we stopped. It was getting closer. The space between the minutes was getting longer and longer.
Hey, I'm hungry. I want to go back and get a candy bar.
You're crazy. It's almost time.
I got a couple of minutes. Look.
Well, you just had a malted.
I don't know. I'm hungry. I mean, I got a right to eat a candy bar before it happens, don't I?
How can you think about food?
It's only 1 minute.
Well, all right. I just wanted to get one last candy bar, that's all.
You think we could see better if we went across the street?
Doesn't make any difference. It's going to be all over the world. There was still a minute to go, and I kept wondering if there'd been a miscalculation. Now we were all looking up. All over the world, people were looking up. It was quiet. You could hear them breathing. I sneaked a look across the street. Ginny Wexelberg was staring up, and she was crying. I kept wondering why a pretty girl like that should be crying. And then, just as I looked back at the sky, it happened. It came, the flash across the skies, a silver streak, the biggest vapor trail there ever was. It went from this side to that side in no time. It split the sky and was gone before the shockwave hit us. Nobody said anything. We stood there and shivered and straightened up after the rumbling sound passed.
You know what? It's going to go around the whole world.
Well, he did it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he sure did. All the way to Mars and back. Safe and right on schedule. You realize that? He did it. He did it. The first trip to Mars. He's back. He's safe. The factory whistles down by the river started blowing. The bells of the Baptist, the Congregationalists, and the Roman Catholic Church were ringing. We were all jumping up and down, shouting, screaming, laughing as the vapor trail slowly faded into the overcast. I grabbed a hold of somebody next to me, and all of a sudden I realized it was Ginny Wexelberg, and she kissed me, and I kissed her back. And we yelled louder than all the factory whistles. We had a right. It was just like the paper said. This was the day the world ended. and the universe began.
This is Fred Collins, and I'll be back with a word about X-1 in a moment.
Hi, this is Walter O'Keefe. You know, they say there's nothing new under the sun, and maybe that's true, but there is something new under the moon, and that's Nightline. In Nightline, we think we found the way to use the intimacy as well as the lightning-fast maneuverability of radio in an hour-and-a-half package of high-voltage, different entertainment. We found the way to make the airwaves your magic carpet to wherever big things are happening. Anywhere in the country, for that matter, anywhere in the world. Now, let's say that your favorite comedian is performing at a Las Vegas nightclub. He's packing them in, and you've really got to have connections to get a table. Well, Nightline is that connection, and your radio is your ringside table. More things than you'd believe are happening in the so-called still of the night, and Nightline is your line to exciting entertainment after dark. My feeling is Nightline marks a new era in nighttime entertainment. Tune us in tonight over most of these NBC stations.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features William Morrison's novelette, The Sly Bunger Hop. To Colmer, it was the chance of a lifetime. He could hear opportunity knock. But where in all creation was the door it knocked upon? Galaxy Magazine on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you End as a World, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by F.L. Wallace and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in our cast were Jack Grimes as Pete, Larry Robinson as Paul, Peter Fernandez as Howie, and Alice Yorman as the mother. This is Fred Collins speaking. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production. Next week on X-1, another exciting story from the pages of Galaxy. The Scapegoat by Richard Maples. If you saw a big teenage young bully beating up a helpless old man on the street, what would you do? Try to stop it? Or save your own neck by just walking away? Well, this is the story of a man who did stop it. Of a newspaper reporter who not only rescued the old man, but took him home, hoping to develop a good angle for the newspaper series he was writing on juvenile delinquency. The Scapegoat tells of what happened then, of the terrible threat posed by this seemingly harmless old man to the unsuspecting reporter and his family. Be sure to hear it next week on X-1. Wondering what the weather will be like tomorrow night? Will it be cool? Will it be hot? Will it rain or not? Well, don't give it another thought, because NBC's Monitor has a weatherproof evening plan for you with excursions to 3 world-famous underground scenic spots. You'll go roving with Monitor on a 2.5-mile trip through Marble Cave in Missouri. You'll listen to the music of a stalactite organ in Luray Caverns, Virginia. And you'll visit the historic catacombs of Rome. Between trips underground, you'll hear another merry report on his vacation tour of Europe by comedian Jonathan Winters. And you'll rub elbows with international celebrities at a unique party in Tootshore's famous restaurant in New York. There'll be music and news, too. In fact, there'll be something for everybody on Monitor. So start your weekend right with Monitor Friday night, and stay with Monitor all weekend long.
Nightline takes you to wherever exciting, interesting, and entertaining things are happening. Tonight, over most of these same NBC stations.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy's science fiction magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, The Scapegoat by Richard Maples. But first, hear this.
When the ice is smooth and the sky is blue and the skater's waltz is played for two.
You make it Pabst, 'cause Pabst makes it perfect.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect. Just as we always have ever since 1844. So next time, you make it Pabst, because Pabst makes it perfect. America's Blue Ribbon beer from the Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect.
Now, X minus 1 and The Scapegoat.
The old guy didn't have a chance. All he could do was shield his head with his limp arms and moan, while this other fellow, a husky young six-footer, gave him a vicious, cold-blooded beating. Hey, cut it out! You, cut it out beating up an old man like that! I said cut it out! Now, let go of him. Well, what have you got to say for yourself before I belt you as hard as you hit the old man here? Well, hey, you, wait! Wait, you no good hoodlum! Hey, you all right, Pop? Are you okay? What happened? Was he trying to rob you or something? Look, you'll be all right now. You'll be okay. You're lucky I came along then. No cops anywhere. Okay, come on, old-timer. Up on your feet. You're going home with me. I suppose it seems callous to think of it, but this old man was just what I'd been looking for. A brutal assault and a helpless old man, and I was the hero, just what I needed. You see, I'd just come from a meeting with the city fathers and the commissioner of the police department. And old man Jones, my publisher, had promptly yanked the rug out from under me and chickened. I'd written the articles panning the city's handling of the juvenile delinquency problem, because Jones had to be in his bonnet to be the mayor. Now, when the heat was on, he weaseled out. We had a few words, Jones and I quit. But now I had him, an eyewitness story, no cops anywhere, and a young bruiser beating up a defenseless old man. I figured I'd take him home, let my wife fix him up, keep him around the house until the story broke.
Ed, what's the idea? Ed!
All right, take it easy, honey. It's all right. This old guy just needs some patching up, that's all. Come on, old-timer.
Oh, but he looks awful. Who is he? What is blood in his...
Now, come on, help me get him inside.
He's cold. His wrist is cold.
Yeah, shock, I think. Come on, in with him. All right, now, let him down on the chair. There you are, Pop.
Were you in an accident?
No, some hoodlum was beating him up. I chased him off.
Oh, that's awful. Did you call the police?
There weren't any police there. I'm going to crack this whole situation wide open with this story.
Hey, Mom! Hey! Wow! Never mind. Go into the bathroom and bring out some towels. Ed, we'll need some bandages.
Yeah, we'd better get a blanket around him.
A blanket? It's 90 degrees.
It's for shock, son.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Okay, Mom.
Ed, I think he's coming to now. He's opening his eyes.
No, you're all right, old-timer. You're all right.
Well, isn't this cozy?
What's your name?
Ash.
Ash. And first name?
That's it.
Oh, then what's your last name?
I don't know.
All right. Take it easy. What happened? Who was that hoodlum? Did you ever see him before?
I don't remember.
Well, why was he hitting him?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You missing any money?
I'm not sure.
Well, I suppose I scared him off before he could rob you.
Yes. Oh, yes, you rescued me, didn't you? I'm really very grateful.
Don't try to talk too much now. You'll feel better after you've had something to eat.
Ed, we have nothing in the house. We were just going to have a salad.
Well, salad's all right.
Well, Ed, I think maybe we'd better get Mr. Ash to a hospital or to his house or something.
Oh, look, Nana, I told you I want him
Ed,
here.
please. Come inside.
Well, what's the matter with you?
Come inside.
Okay. You just sit right here, Mr. Ash. I'll be right back. I just want
Yes, I'll be all right now.
Nan, what's the matter with you?
Get rid of him. What? Get him out of here.
Well, why?
He gave me the willies.
Oh, no, it's just the heat.
Well, you must know he leered at me.
Oh, Nan, he's an old man. He's just been beat up and in shock.
Ed, please.
Oh, no. I've got to keep him here. He's my proof. I'll write a story that'll rip the administration wide open, and Jones can't pull it out because I've got the proof right here, and I was the eyewitness.
But, Ed,
no.
Please.
He stays here, and that's all there is to it.
You're listening to The Scapegoat, tonight's attraction on X-1. Once a tall and beautiful tree stood in the forest. It had been there for 200 or 300 years. In the course of that time, wind shook it and lightning struck near it. A hurricane bent it once until its top was nearly at the ground. But none of the ferocious assaults could fell that tall, proud tree. But then one day, the most spindly-legged, pot-bellied, adenoidal, open-mouthed creature that the forest had ever seen sat down in the cool shade of that tree. This was what was called a man, and he wanted to smoke what is called a cigar. He did. And he threw his match among the pine needles, and when he had smoked the cigar, he threw that away, too, and went off, because somewhere down by the lake there was waiting for him what is called a woman. And he had the hope that maybe she didn't feel like nagging anymore. Before nightfall, that tree that had withstood all those assaults was ashes, and thousands of other trees in that forest were, too. The man is still living. If you know any of his species, you might tell him that trees don't have Adam's apples and shrill voices. Trees are beautiful, and men ought to be careful with matches. Now back to X-1 and The Scapegoat.
The old man seemed to recover pretty quickly. I suppose mostly because I'd gotten there in time. As a matter of fact, he began to talk, and he kept it up through the whole meal. And it was the craziest story you ever heard. He insisted he'd come from another world outside our solar system, where people existed in a kind of liquid state, bouncing about for the most part like large water-filled bladders. They were, however, capable of taking almost any shape their superior minds willed. They could flatten and drift about on the water, or they could inflate and rise in the air.
As a matter of fact, they can even become facsimiles of other living things, taking on the shape and texture and coloration, a capability which adds greatly in their main function of traveling as missionaries of goodness among the peoples of the galaxy.
Goodness, huh?
Oh, yes. They're perfect. As perfect as angels.
All right. I've had enough. I asked for it.
Nan, where are you going? Don't rush off.
Well, I guess I know when I'm being kidded. Very funny, Mr. Ash.
But I'm not kidding.
Don't tell me that you're a missionary to Earth.
Oh, no, I'm here because I was banished.
Oh, sort of a fallen angel.
Exactly.
Look, Ash, it's too hot for games. If you don't want to explain what happened this afternoon, that's your privilege. But as you know, this story means a lot to me. And I did stick my neck out for you.
One moment, my boy. Let me finish. You see, I'm a throwback.
A what?
A throwback, an atavism. They tried to reform me, but there was something rather fundamental about me, something rather evil. And, of course, as a last resort, they put me into one of the machines, and they threw the switch.
Oh, sure. They killed you. Look, I'm not in the mood for Shaggy Dog stories.
They didn't kill me, exactly. It was sort of like water being scraped over the edge of a sharp rock. When I came to, I was drifting through space. And then, of course, much later, I landed on Earth. Oh, I've had many shapes through the years. Mainly people who died. I find that's much more convenient.
Yeah. Look, if you'll excuse me, I have to make a telephone call. I'll just go into the other room.
I dare say you want to call the hospital. I'm not psychotic, really.
I've got iced coffee.
Ah, yes, you're just in time, Mrs. Potter. I think perhaps I'd better prove my story if you'll wait just a moment. You see, it's done by the generation of a high electrostatic field. Something like this. If you'll notice, my face begins to lose definition. It moves as if it had a life of its own. Now what?
Stop it.
Well, that looks considerably younger, doesn't it?
30 years younger. 30 years just dropped away like... Listen, this story will set the whole country on its ear, with my byline on it.
Oh, Ed, don't let him take you in. It's a trick. It's mass hypnotism or something.
I saw it right here. So did you. I'll have an exclusive. Life will have to come to me for the story. I've got to admit that I could share something of Anne's point of view. He wasn't really very pleasant. As a matter of fact, he had what you call colossal gall. After supper, he came right down to cases.
Naturally, if I'm to stay here and keep my identity secret until you can arrange for an exclusive story, I will need a little pocket money.
How much?
How much you got?
Well, I don't know. I got about $22, and payday isn't until Thursday.
Well, how about your bank account?
Hey, now, wait a minute.
Well, we'll see what we can arrange later. I am a little tired, though. I think it's about time to go to bed. I noticed a rather comfortable bed in here. Well, I'll see you all in the morning. Good night. And thank you again for rescuing me.
And that's our bedroom.
I know.
Well, you go right in there and tell him that he can't
Listen.
sleep.
He locked the door.
Oh, Ed, do something.
All right. You get some sheets from the linen closet, and I'll make up the couch. Next day, I made careful inquiries, started to feel around for contacts on live at the AP, someplace to really break the story big. About 5 p.m, Jones, the publisher, called me into his office.
Sit down, Ed. I've got some good news.
Now, look, Mr. Jones, ever since you left me out on a limb at the mayor's...
Oh, now, let's not worry about that, Ed. We've got something very interesting going for us now that changes everything. They've arrested a gang of kids for shoplifting. Well, one of them is Tommy, your son.
What? Arrested Tommy?
Wait, Ed, don't go off half-cocked. It's a break, don't you see? You can cover delinquency with the lid off now. You'll be riding as a parent in the same boat with other parents. Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going?
At the police station, I had the distinct feeling they'd been waiting for me.
Well, Miss Potter, we meet under unfortunate circumstances.
Can the phony sympathy, Thompson. Just let me see my boy.
We'd better have a little talk first about all those articles you're writing about the police force.
I've got no talking to do. This is a lousy frame-up against me and the paper. Now, you get my son out here and do it fast.
You don't understand, Mr. Potter. Your son is in trouble. He's been identified as leading a gang of kids who spent most of the morning shoplifting in the stores all over town.
That's nonsense. How could my boy do anything like that? He's only 12. Who identified him anyway?
The shopkeepers and the other members of the gang. You can see him, Mr. Potter, but I still think we'll want to have our little talk.
Son, what's this all about?
It was Ash.
Ash?
Yes, I told him about the gang.
What the heck are you talking about?
So the fellas got together and built a hut for a clubhouse.
What does the gang do?
Oh, different things. One of the fellas has a .22 and we hunt rats and...
Well, go ahead. What is it?
we smoke.
Oh. And what else?
That's all honest.
What about shoplifting?
No, that was Ash. He wanted me to talk the gang into shoplifting, but I wouldn't. Then he changed himself to look like me and talked the fellas into it when I wasn't around. I only knew about it because I ran into them after they'd robbed their store.
Who is this Ash he keeps talking about?
Why, he's a man... Oh, never mind. Listen, the boy's beside himself because of all he's been through. Will you let me take him home with me?
Of course, Mr. Potter, but the charges still hold. Don't forget to stop in and have our little talk before you report back to juvenile court.
I called the house, and Ash answered the phone.
I'm glad you called, Ed. I'm out of cash, you know. I need a small loan.
Now, listen to you. The police have picked up Tommy. He's been charged with the shoplifting you did today.
Oh, now I'm sorry about that. You see, there's a certain cultural difference between you and me. I didn't understand.
You're going to help me get him out, you hear? You're going to tell everybody the truth.
Well, of course. Of course I will.
Now, listen. I'm coming home. Nan will be back from her mother's any minute. Don't you tell her about this, you hear?
Well, of course I won't. I'll be waiting right here.
I suppose I was a fool, but I still wanted that story. I wanted it so bad I could taste it. The exclusive account of an extraterrestrial being. Driving home, I had it all figured out. I'd bring Ash down to the police station. He'd tell the story, go through his changing act to convince him, and spring Tommy. I'd have my story already filed and beat everybody. In the meantime, I just hoped Nan wouldn't spoil everything alone with it. Alone with him. And then suddenly I let my foot come down on the accelerator like it was made out of lead. I pulled the car to a stop and sprinted up the driveway. Nan! Nan, where are you? They were both moving. Nan stood in the far corner with her back against the wall. Her shoulders were scratched and her lip cut. She held a heavy bookend, poised to strike at Ash, who was in front of her, moving stealthily forward. He turned as I came in, and I froze in amazement. I couldn't recognize it. And then, all at once, I realized I was looking at the spitting image of myself.
And I knew it wasn't you. I knew it wasn't you.
Well, if you'll both excuse me, come back here. I'll get you. I'll get you.
I bolted through the window and circled the house. I spotted him rushing down the street, and I caught him around the corner at the same spot where I'd first seen him.
Let go of me!
You've got this coming to you! You've got this coming to you! I slugged him, yet I knew it was useless the instant the blow landed. He felt just like sponge rubber, yet I kept hitting him. I didn't bother listening to his cries, even after he changed himself back to an old man. And then suddenly I felt a hand grab my shoulder and whirl me around, and a fist exploded in my eye.
What's the matter with you? What do you think you're doing, beating up an old man like that? You no good. Who am I out of...
I searched desperately for an explanation. And then, abruptly, without having said a word, I reeled and stumbled down the street. Home to Nan.
Fred Collins again, and I'll have another word for you about X-1 in a moment.
Hi, this is Walter O'Keefe. You know, they say there's nothing new under the sun, and maybe that's true. But there is something new under the moon, and that's Nightline. In Nightline, we think we found the way to use the intimacy as well as the lightning-fast maneuverability of radio in an hour-and-a-half package of high-voltage, different entertainment. We found the way to make the airwaves your magic carpet to wherever big things are happening. Anywhere in the country, for that matter, anywhere in the world. Now, let's say that your favorite comedian is performing at a Las Vegas nightclub. He's packing them in, and you've really got to have connections to get a table. Well, Nightline is that connection, and your radio is your ringside table. More things than you'd believe are happening in the so-called still of the night, and Nightline is your line to exciting entertainment after dark. My feeling is Nightline marks a new era in nighttime entertainment. Tune us in every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and you'll hear what I mean.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Shadow World by Clifford D. Simak. Of all the upsetting phenomena, the most alarming was this. I had a little shadow that went in and out with me. It's in Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you The Scapegoat, written by Richard Maples and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in our cast were Carl Weber as Ed, Wendell Holmes as the changeable Mr. Ash, Jane Amar as Nan, Bobby Alford as Tommy, Guy Rep as Mr. Jones, and Roger DeCoven as Thompson. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Kenneth McGregor and is an NBC Radio Network production.
There's excitement in the air at night, and Nightline brings it to you. Hear Nightline with Walter O'Keefe, next on most of these NBC stations.
Down in the South Pacific Ocean, a submarine is racing madly for the United States. Just 4 hours ago, the Gregory party escaped from the island of Euclidia in a stolen Euclidean submarine. Joan Gregory, 15-year-old girl who has spent nearly all her life on the strange artificial island, is operating the submarine, while Jerry Hall, Mrs. Gregory, and Captain Bradford watch with interest and ply Joan with questions. The speedy undersea craft is making over 40 knots and is 8 fathoms below the surface of the water.
Are you sure we've come that far, Joan?
It is obvious that my instruments could not be wrong. We have progressed slightly more than 160 miles during the last 4 hours.
Think of that, Pat. 4 hours, 160 miles, and under 8 fathoms of water.
I am thinking of it, Tex, but there's so much to think of that I'm not able to grasp it all.
Golly, I'm not doing any better, Mrs. Gregory. But it's mighty swell to know we've left that crazy island behind us, and that nothing can stop us now.
Oh, how I hope that's true.
Well, of course it is, Patricia. You've been worried so long and seen your plans so badly treated that you're afraid to believe in good luck when it does come along.
Indications point toward a fair possibility of achievement of our goal. We have many miles to traverse, however, and Euclidia is not to be forgotten.
Well, I'm going to forget it just as soon as I can.
Joan, you're not sure that we're safely away from that island, are you?
No one who appreciates the ability of G-47 is ever sure of anything in which he might take an interest.
Yes, and he might take plenty of interest in our escape.
I'll say he will.
It will avail us nothing to anticipate trouble. We must now eat something.
Huh? Eat?
By Jove, Joan, we forgot to provision the boat.
We had no time, even if we had remembered it.
The submarine is fully provisioned.
Oh, with what?
Food.
You sure keep it hid.
Yes, I can't see any space in here large enough to contain any amount of food.
And we've a long way to go to California.
The Euclideans are as exacting regarding food as they are in their provision for sufficient fuel. We are amply provisioned for a cruise of this length and more.
Well, come on, break out the grub.
What?
Jerry means let's eat.
It would seem indicated as the passage of time since our last meal is slightly more than the customary period allowed to elapse.
Maybe that's how you find out when it's time to eat, but I know when I'm hungry.
Yes, and I'm a little inclined to figure the way Jerry does. My stomach is better than the clock.
The thought of food had not occurred to you until I noted the fact that it was time to eat.
Oh, that's what you think. I was plenty hungry long ago, but I didn't see any sense in asking for something we didn't have.
That was my feeling, Jerry. I had thought of food some time ago, but I knew it wouldn't do any good to suggest it, as we'd only feel worse about not having any.
It is amazing to learn how foolish people can be in your world.
Foolish because we get hungry?
Certainly not. Foolish because you refuse to accept the perfection of Euclidean preparations. It would be a serious offense if a Euclidean were to start on a trip without all necessary equipment and provisions.
Well, that's okay, too. But we stole this boat, and you don't always find a boat ready to steal all full of food.
Well, supposing we'd met that Joan showed us up and asked for some of the food, huh?
Yes. I can marvel at having the food just as comfortably while I'm eating it.
Very well. Jerry.
Aye, Skipper?
I am not a skipper, Jerry.
Okay. What do you want?
Will you open the metal slide in the steel section near your left arm?
Oh, this little thing here?
Yes, that is
sure.
it. You will observe a number of quartz vials, each labeled and numbered.
Yeah, there's a lot of little bottles here. They're all marked D1 and Z4 and all such things.
We will not require more than the one you have in your hand. That is marked Z4, is it not?
Yeah, but what's in it?
Our noonday meal.
Huh?
Joan, dear, are you looking at what Jerry has in his hand?
I glanced at it. The label will be correct.
But we're looking for something to eat.
That vial contains sufficient for our needs at this time.
Now look, Joan. This bottle isn't any bigger than your thumb. Well, how can we eat out of that?
If you will remove the cap, please.
Okay. Off comes the cap.
Now, Mother, if you and the captain will extend your hands, Jerry will drop one of the tablets in each hand.
Why, yes, but... Oh, good heavens, that little capsule isn't much larger than the end of a lead pencil.
You will find it sufficient for a satisfying meal.
A meal? This little pill is a meal?
You are very skeptical, Captain Bradford. But let me advise you to eat the pellet at once. Much of the food value will be lost in the air if you continue to hold it in the palm of your hand.
Oh, golly whiskers. Do you chew this up or just swallow it?
If you wish to savor the exquisite taste, it is permissible to masticate and slowly swallow the food contents.
Slowly swallow? How can you swallow a thing like that slowly?
Jerry, taste your tablet. It is delicious. And give Joan hers.
Oh, sure. Sorry, Joan. Here's your porterhouse steak.
Why, George, Pat, you're right. That tastes mighty good. Seems to taste like a good, healthy mouthful, too.
Well, if it's all right with you two, I guess I can take a chance on it, too. But I can't see how... Oh, golly whiskers. Now I've done it. I swallowed my dinner without even getting a chance to taste it.
You will receive the food value as quickly as if you had tasted it. Many of the Euclideans prefer to swallow the pellets quickly, saving considerable time.
Yeah, I guess it's too long for lunch if you take time to chew up a pill. What a bunch of people old G47 and his playmates are.
Well, I must admit that's one of the most satisfying meals I've ever eaten. Oh, I feel so comfortably drowsy, just as if I'd eaten a little too much.
It is not too much. Those tablets are scientifically correct in their food content.
Well, I feel all right. No, maybe that was all the lunch I ought to have. But it's a funny way to get it.
I'll tell you a funny one's in that. I'll bet no one else has noticed it.
What's that, Tex?
I'm not thirsty. None of you have asked for a drink of water.
Why, you're right. It's been hours since we had any water, and I never felt the need of it.
The need for water is partly provided for in the tablets. But in such concentrated form, it is impossible to secrete sufficient normal moisture to serve for a longer time. I had given it no thought and have no water prepared. But in a few moments you will be supplied.
Prepared? Water? How?
Now, Joan, don't tell me you've got some concentrated water in a fountain pen.
Naturally not. You should know, Captain Bradford, that when water is condensed sufficiently to compress it for such use as this, it is no longer water. Even the Euclideans have failed to compress water appreciably and then return it to its natural state.
Well, it's almost a relief to hear that you admit that those scientists have failed at something. Their continued perfection with everything they attempt is bewildering and terrifying.
Where do you turn on the hydrant?
Turn on the hydrant?
Sure. Open the faucet. Start the pump. Make the fountain bubble. Oh, when do we get a drink?
If you will allow me a few seconds to refuel, I will show you.
Go right ahead, Joan.
And all this is real? A submarine that takes but a few seconds to refuel?
Well, maybe we can do something about that. Seems like a waste of time to me.
You think I do it too slowly?
Now, don't let Jerry kid you, Joan. Go to it. And if you don't mind, I'd like to watch you closely. Have you explain the refueling process as you go along. It's always happened too fast for me.
It is very difficult to demonstrate for that reason. However, there is enough fuel in the first chamber to allow me a few seconds for explanation in advance of the actual operation.
May we all watch, dear?
Certainly, Mother, although there is little to see. As you will note, that heavy cylinder of transparent steel contains several hundred small cubes of a grayish mineral substance. That substance is a highly condensed, compressed, and dehydrated gas. When the gas cubes are mixed with ordinary salt water, spontaneous combustion expands the whole at a terrific rate, and this force is allowed to escape through two jets in the stern.
So far, so good. But how do you get those cubes of dry gas down into that lower combustion chamber?
Watch closely now. I move this lever, so, and that action closes the valve in the upper end of the chamber. Now I move this lever and release one of the cubes, allowing it to drop through the valve and then quickly close the valve, restricting the chemical action to the lower chamber. Follow this closely now.
I hope you saw what you were looking for, Tex. It was much too rapid for me.
Me, too.
Oh, it's remarkable, Jerry. We'll certainly have wonderful stories to tell when we get back home.
Yes, unless we can prove them, nobody's going to believe us.
Well, we'll have a submarine to show them, and when we get some help and some of your formula to use in capturing the Magic Island, we can prove the whole thing then.
You are very optimistic, Jerry, but that portion of our adventures is far from realization.
Oh, Joan, dear, we'll get out of this all right. I feel it.
Sure we will. OG-47 can't touch us now.
Yeah, stop worrying about those Euclideans, Joan, and go on with our education. Now, where's this drink of water coming from?
I am indeed sorry that the water was forgotten. We will now extract enough for our immediate uses.
Extract it? Extract water?
Precisely.
Okay, precisely. Tell us how you get water out of a steel submarine.
I get water out of the ocean.
The ocean?
You would find it simple to extract the salt from seawater and render it satisfactory for human consumption if you were in your laboratory, would you not?
Of course, with proper apparatus. Retorts, stills, burners, and bell jars, but I'm lost here.
Lost? But we are on our course.
Oh, Tex, man. You left him hopelessly behind in your discussion, Joan, dear.
Well, why don't you go ahead and show us, Joan, like you did about the compressed gas tablets for fuel?
Well, I think that is best. We can always get a good general impression by watching you at work.
In securing palatable water, we make use of the same principle you employ in your laboratory, that of distillation. However...
What is it, Joan?
Sounds like a carrier wave coming out of a radio.
Turn it in quick, Joan. It might be Johnson trying to reach it.
Not on that wavelength. There is no transmitter in your world with a frequency of that calibration.
Well, it surely sounds like a radio.
Yes, now, bet it is.
You are indeed hearing the tuning signal of a transmission apparatus, but your friend Johnson will never be heard there.
Well, what is it?
The location beam from Euclidia.
The magic island?
Oh, they've located us.
Steady, Pat. Now, what is it exactly, Joan?
That constant signal will be received by every Euclidean receiving set all over the world. Every spy Euclidia has is getting it. And all will know that something is missing from Euclidia.
And I suppose the search is on right now.
You may be sure that the ocean and air are alive with Euclidean pursuit units at this moment, Captain.
Oh, gee. Let's tune in on the island station and see what old G47 is broadcasting about.
No. Our only hope of escaping location is to refuse to open our receiver to voice transmission. That would break the beam, and the instruments on Euclidia would register it at once, giving them our exact distance from the island.
You mean we can't even receive a message without being located?
Exactly.
But what if Johnson or some other rescue agency attempts to communicate with us?
We will not receive their messages. Our only hope now is to remain lost in the depths of the sea. Lost to Euclidia and lost to the world.
For the second time, the Gregory party has escaped from the Magic Island. And as they race along under the sea in a Euclidean submarine, putting 40 more miles between themselves with every hour, it looks as if all should be well. But nothing connected with the Magic Island is ever just what it seems to be. Captain Bradford, Mrs. Gregory, and Jerry Hall have been enjoying themselves as Joan explains the working of the stolen submarine. But the fun is over when their radio picks up a warning signal from Euclidia. Joan is explaining that it will be impossible for them to intercept any messages without giving away their own position.
But we've just got to sit still and listen to that thing howl. We can't even get any messages out.
We will be able to send no communication while the Euclidean transmission beam is in operation, Jerry.
I can't understand it, Joan. You say that Euclidean radio is working on a wavelength far shorter than anything in our world.
Yes, Mother.
Well, then why can't we use the radio in this submarine? Use it on the common broadcast band or commercial shortwave and be perfectly safe.
We would interrupt that signal we are now hearing.
I don't see how.
I believe I do, Jerry. As long as that signal continues without interruption, G47 has no way of finding out that we are even receiving it here. But if we cut it off to move from that wavelength, the action will be registered on the recording graphs at the island. Locating the send would be a mighty simple matter.
And we don't even dare to stop that noise.
It would be very unwise.
Well, it sure gets on my nerves.
Well, don't let it bother you too much. It's better to have a few shivers running up and down your back than it would be for G47 to locate us.
Oh, I'll say it is.
You're right, Tex. Why, it stopped.
Yeah. And I can get along swell without it.
I guess none of us will miss it much.
If you wish to act quickly, you may try to reach Johnson now.
We can use the radio to send him a message?
I would not attempt that as yet. However, you know the wavelength of the boat Johnson is now on. And you know he will be transmitting almost a constant signal to you. I would suggest opening our set to that wavelength for reception. But we will have only 90 seconds.
90 seconds? For what?
The Euclidean beam will be off for 90 seconds.
Well, then hurry. Put that set on 6 meters.
Very well, Captain. I will observe the time carefully and return the radio to normal in time to receive the Euclidean beam.
We must be very careful not to run over into it.
I've got the receiver on 6 meters.
That's where we last heard from Johnson.
But Tex, he was on a boat then running to Los Angeles. Don't you think he should be home by this time?
I wonder about that.
Well, he'd be trying to reach us just the same, wouldn't he?
Well, possibly not, Jerry. If Johnson is in Los Angeles, he's very busy trying to arrange a rescue party.
Yes, and being laughed at every time he tells his story.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Nobody would believe Johnson's story about what happened to us.
The fact that you have not returned should offer ample proof that all is not well with you. And if Johnson is clever, he will succeed in making your friends understand your position.
We've organized the rescue all right, Joan, but that takes time.
Well, we don't seem to be doing ourselves any good on the radio.
Oh, don't be too impatient, Jerry. We may have to listen for hours to get any word from Johnson.
You have a powerful private transmitter at your home, have you not, Mother?
Why, yes, Joan.
Would it not be wise to... Wait, let me have the radio controls, Jerry. It is time for the Euclidean beam. I will make the change quickly.
Glad you remembered that, Joan. Wouldn't be so good to run over into the
Silence.
Boy, you sure didn't give yourself any time to spare. You just barely got the set changed over when that signal came in.
I was quite conscious of the passing of time.
You've got more compass in your watch than I'd have in mine.
And what if that Euclidean beam had started a little early? What if they hadn't waited their full 90 seconds?
Well, we'd just be on our way back to the island and spend more time worrying with the things they give prisoners to do on Euclidia.
Everything is constant on Euclidia. When a Euclidean is told that the location beams are transmitted constantly with 90-second intervals and 60 seconds of activity, you may be sure that you will be allowed exactly 90 seconds of silence between transmissions.
Well, we'll take your word for it, Joan. You certainly know a whole lot more about G47 and his scientists than we do. But I'd suggest that you be ready to use the whole 90 seconds listening for Johnson when that beam stops.
Yes, Joan, dear. We must be ready to switch to our own wavelength at once.
I had anticipated that.
You'll want to put the set on 1 1/2 meters.
The radio will be set to 1 1/2 meters the instant Euclidea's beam is silent.
Not much chance of hearing anything from Johnson now, though. He won't be sending night and day.
Well, I'm inclined to believe that he may be, Tex. He can easily get any number of amateurs to work in shifts for him.
Well, hey, there goes the beam.
Change the wavelength, Joan.
I have changed it.
You sure work fast.
When time is computed in seconds, it is well not to waste it.
Well, let's be quiet a minute and see if we can hear anything.
Not a sound.
It is possible that your transmitter in Los Angeles is very weak and might not reach us clearly underwater. I will soundproof the submarine.
Soundproof the submarine?
What do you mean, Joan?
I will close the visibility slides. The outer shell is not soundproof, and we may safely run by instruments alone.
And we'll just tear along underwater without being able to see where we're going?
We will remain on our course. Visibility is of no value to us at the moment.
Why, that's wonderful, Joan. This is practically soundproof.
The silence would be perfect, except for the fact that I have one vent open for securing fresh water.
Oh, yeah, how about that water you promised us?
Now, don't worry about that now, Jerry. Let's hope we may hear something from J12C.
Yes, J12C is the call of our home station, Joan. And Johnson also used it when he brought the rescue boat to the Magic Island.
I understand that. We heard all of your messages.
Yeah, I know. Old G47 said he listened to us all the way from Wilmington to Euclidia.
Our arrival wasn't much of a surprise to you, was it, Joan?
No, Mother. Though I had no thought as to what any of you would be like,
Joan, did you have the set changed over in time?
With at least 5 seconds margin, Captain Redford.
5 seconds?
Oh, sure. 5 seconds is a long time to Joan. Wait till I get home, and she has to wait half an hour for a bus on some street corner. She'll find out that seconds don't mean so much.
A second is important.
You're right, of course, Joan. But what Jerry means is that in our world, we treat seconds pretty carelessly.
I'm beginning to learn something of their value now, however. Those 90-second pauses in the Euclidean beam. 90 seconds in which we might hear something from Johnson. They seem awfully short.
Well, I'll say they do. And I'm getting blamed tired of that carrier wave squealing at us all the time.
Now, take it easy, Jerry. As long as we hear that thing every minute and a half, we know the Euclideans have any idea where we are.
You are wise, Captain Tex. Any interruption of that beam might well be fatal to our plans.
Well, I know how serious it is, but the next time you get one of those 90-second pauses, how about making us a drink of water?
The water is being prepared now, Jerry.
Being prepared? How?
Quiet. The beam is gone.
And Johnson's taking a little nap.
Are you trying to pick up a signal on 1 1/2 meters, Joan?
Yes, Mother.
Well, why not try 6 meters again? If that was a very slow boat Johnson was on, he might still be en route to California.
Good idea, Mrs. Gregory.
Yeah, plenty good. We might try alternating between the two bands.
That will not be necessary. I will set the automatic wave selector on those 2 bands. A signal will register on either.
Is there anything that Euclidean radio won't do?
Apparently not. Are the 2 bands open now, Joan?
They are.
Yeah. And not a signal from either of them.
Don't be impatient, Jerry. It may take hours to get a signal from Johnson. He might be just landing from that boat. It would take him some time to get to the house and start the other set.
Oh, I think not, Tex. Johnson would surely have radioed my home and given orders for them to try to reach us.
Well, he might not, Mrs. Gregory. Maybe he doesn't want to advertise his business too much.
I think maybe Jerry's right, Pat. Johnson can't say very much over the air without getting the press and commercial radio stirred up. Then he'll have them in his way. Well, we may have to appeal to the government in this before we get through. Johnson knows we want to play a lone hand as long as we can.
I think you will find that your Mr. Johnson is safely in Los Angeles. You must have patience.
I know you think we're very excitable and foolish, Joan, but you're far more accustomed to these happenings than we are.
Hey, there it is again. Another 90 seconds wasted. How about a drink, Joan? Those food tablets we had sure made me thirsty.
That is purely your imagination, Jerry. Those tablets contain enough moisture to sustain you for some hours. However, we will now have some fresh water. You will find drinking vessels in that small sliding receptacle behind you, Mother.
I can reach it easier than you can, Pat. Here they are.
Jerry, you will find a small steel tube directly above the duplicate control on your side.
Right here?
Correct. Will you turn the cap on that tube and fill the cups?
Oh, sure. Hey, this thing acts like a soda fountain.
What is a soda fountain?
Well, you'll find out when we get back home. Here, Mrs. Gregory.
Oh, thank you, Jerry.
And here's one for you, Joan.
Thank you, Jerry.
Joan, the radio.
Yes, Mother. I have opened the receiving channel.
Here's a drink for you, Tex.
Thanks, Jerry.
No, well, I'll get one for myself.
J12C to J24Y. J12C to J24Y. J12C to Captain Bradford.
It's Johnson.
J12C to Gregory Boat. J12C calling Gregory Boat. Wilmington to Gregory Boat.
Wilmington?
No signal from you for hours. Will continue trying to reach you. Making preparations expected of me. Will take 72 hours to complete plans. J12C to J24Y. J12C calling J24Y. Will repeat every 10 minutes. That is all. Johnson.
He's home.
Oh, Tex. Johnson is home. He's home.
He's working on our plan.
Only 72 hours to finish it, he said.
What did he mean by that?
Tex's formula. Wasn't that it, Tex?
Yes. Johnson knows our only hope to capture Euclidia is to compound my formula and use that as a weapon.
Are you quite sure that Johnson can compound your universal solvent?
Positive. He has the true formula.
Joan. Oh, it's lucky you thought to change that back.
I was so excited I forgot.
It is not wise to put excitement before duty.
Good idea, Joan, if we could always remember it. Well, let's have a drink of the water that was made from salt water on a Euclidean submarine.
You were going to explain how you made it, Joan.
I will do so now, Mother. There is a small channel in the outer shell of the submarine through which a fine stream of salt water rushes at such speed as to reach the boiling point. It is a simple matter to utilize this almost automatic distillation process and draw off a stream of pure, fresh water.
Think of that, Pat. We're racing through the ocean fast enough to make water boil.
Well, it may be my imagination, as Joan said it was with Jerry, or my throat may be dry from excitement, but I certainly need this drink.
So do I. Here goes.
Thanks to Joan and the Euclideans, we can drink fresh water under 8 fathoms of salt water. Well, here's to our safe arrival in Los Angeles.
Hey, my cup's empty.
You emptied it in the excitement of hearing Johnson call.
Well, golly whiskers. All that trouble to get a drink, and I have to spill it.
Exploring tomorrow. And now here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
There's the old saying that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know, it isn't really power that corrupts, but immunity to punishment and control. And every fool with a little power wants to achieve that immunity. Usually it's held that like attracts like. The two individuals with the same great fundamental characteristic will be normally attracted to each other. You know, this isn't necessarily so. It may not be true. You may have two people who don't like each other, but are forced by the very nature of the fact that they have a unique characteristic to endure each other.
Oh, just a little more. Oh, Alan, isn't it beautiful the way it bubbles and bubbles? Oh, Alan, let's have champagne every night on our honeymoon.
You want to take a bath in it? I can arrange that, too.
Oh, Alan, really? Pink champagne?
Just as pink as you're blushing right now.
Oh, Alan.
What's the matter? Do you think Mr. and Mrs. Alan Carvel are going to live like the rest of the slobs? I tell you, baby...
Alan.
Oh, what's wrong, Alan?
Nothing.
Alan.
You look so funny all of a sudden.
Get off my back.
Thank heaven I've found you. Why haven't you been answering me these last few days?
Do I have to check in with you everything I do, every place I go?
Alan?
Oh, it's all right. I'm all right, Jeannie. Just leave me alone for a minute,
Get out of my mind, Laurie. Get out, I tell you. I'll talk to you later.
You'll talk to me now. What are you doing with this child? What are you trying to hide from me?
All right. I'll get rid of her, then I can talk to you. Give me 20 or 30 minutes to take her home.
I'll give you half an hour, that's all. And don't try to close up your mind and hide from me again.
All right, I say.
Jeannie, it's all right.
You went so white there all of a sudden. Alan, honey, are you sick?
No, it's just one of those migraine headaches of mine. Honey, look, I better take you home.
Oh, honey.
Oh, it's all right. I just need some sleep, that's all. Come on, let's get your coat.
Oh, you better not come in. That's old landlady.
Oh, that's okay. Good night, baby.
Oh.
Good night now.
And get lots of sleep. Take care of your poor head. Call me in the morning.
That's the deal. Good night, honey.
Good night, Alan.
What makes you do things like that, Alan?
You stuck with me every inch of the way, didn't you?
How old is she? 16?
17. What's it to you?
Oh, I have to be conscience for both of us.
Thank you, sweet Lorraine. Who asked you to?
You did, Alan. You always have. All these things you do are challenges to me to set right. All your venom against a fate that made you one of the only two telepaths in the world is twisted against me, your only partner in this lonely land. You strike out at me because I'm like you, and because by the same chance that made us, I'm the stronger one.
That's a lie. I can break loose from you anytime. Let me go. I can't breathe.
I won't hurt you, Alan. I could never hurt you. Though I thank whoever or whatever's responsible for making us as we are, that it's me, not you, who has the additional power to reach out and move physical objects with my mind.
You would. You waste something like that and then feel good about it. What I could do with something like that. Why don't you leave me alone?
Because I love you, Alan. If you'd been a man with decent instincts, bound as we are together, we could have married and found what little happiness is possible for two like us in this world. But there's a twisted streak in you that wouldn't let you settle for that.
Go ahead, play the little mother. You're no good for anything else.
You didn't think so once, Alan.
You're over the hill, baby. Face it.
I've faced it, Alan. Have you?
What do you mean?
Can't you see you're getting worse? When we were just children together, before we'd even seen each other face to face, we used to talk to each other at night, clear across the city, mind to mind, about how someday we'd go out and find others like us. But if you had the chance to find someone like us now, you wouldn't take it. You don't want others. You want to be the only one.
Why not?
Why not? You've got a gun in your pocket right now. Don't you see the danger in all that? Don't you know what it can do to you?
Don't try to scare me, Laurie.
I'm not trying to scare you, Alan. A telepath living in a world of non-telepaths is not a normal person. He can't be. He has to walk a chalk line all the time to preserve his sanity. He can't afford inner conflicts or emotional violences or shocks.
What do you plan to do with that girl? What's the gun for? And what's that you're trying to hide right now, right under the surface of your mind there?
All right. You want to know? I'll tell you. I'm getting out. I'm getting away from this city and away from you, and that girl goes with me. I'm going to take what I want, anything I want, and live like I deserve to, and you can't stop me.
Alan, answer me. Don't shut yourself off from me like that. Alan!
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
This is Bill Goodwin. You know, someone once said humor is the true democracy. And that's why we Americans can smile when we tell the stories of the legendary heroes who helped to build our country's great institutions and industries. Like Bowleg Bill, hero of the tuna fishing industry. Back in Provincetown, Massachusetts, they claimed that when it came to hauling in the horse mackerel, as the Easterners call tuna, Bill could handle 2 gaffs at once and catch more than any 6 men put together. And they're still talking about the time Bill caught old Slick Britches, the biggest horse mackerel of them all. No one could ever get his hooks into Slick Britches, who weighed 2,000 pounds and had a tail 6 feet long. But Bowleg Bill promised to land him single-handed. He set out in his boat, toss-up, and when he spotted Slick Britches, he made a grab for him, but the tuna slipped through his hands. So Bill dove over the side, and before folks knew what had happened, Bill was sitting astride old Slick Britches, who was bucking like a bronco. He leaped almost a mile out of the water, but Bill hung on. All over the harbor they went, jumping and leaping, but still Bill hung on. Finally, Slick Britches gave one last leap over the toss-up, and then calmed down, all the fight gone out of him. Bill steered him toward shore, but all of a sudden he headed him back out to sea, slapped the tuna's tail, and jumped off. Now, folks were mighty disappointed when Slick Britches disappeared, but it was like Bill told them. There's nothing that'll break a cowhand's heart so quick as to find a critter with the ruff all rode off at the first mount. Yes, sir, it is a democracy which lets us tell the stories of such a legendary character as Bowleg Bill with a twinkle in our eyes and a chuckle in our throats. And so long as we continue to laugh together as a people, ladies and gentlemen, we will live together as a nation.
Telepathy has long seemed like a wonderful thing to have, a wonderful possession. But have you ever considered it in terms of the absolute end of privacy? You know, explorers have found that if you put 2 men in one little cabin isolated far away from the rest of the world, they don't learn to like each other. They learn to hate each other.
Now, Sue? Did I wake you, honey? I thought you was going to watch the Late Show on Channel 2. Well, it's just a little past midnight. Oh, I'm sorry I woke you, honey. I just felt like phoning. No, it's quiet as a church. Been through the plant and the tool shop 4 times already. I was just going to check the officers and... Oh, now, come on. Now, stop worrying. Nobody knows about these night payroll deliveries. Anyway, they've come and gone. The money's already in the safe. Sure I will. What?
That's a gun you feel in your back. You say goodbye and hang up fast. And don't turn around.
No. It's all right. I just remembered I forgot to ring in, and I'll better hurry and do that right now. I'll call you back later. Goodbye.
All right, let's head for that safe over there. Now move.
Don't worry. I have a healthy respect for guns. There it is over there. I don't know what Good's going to do. I ain't got the combination.
Shut up. I'll stand over there where I can watch you.
Hey, you opened it right up. Who told you the combination?
The president of the company.
Are you kidding? What is this, a gag of some kind? Look, if this is just a joke, mister... No, I didn't make...
Think about jumping me, will you?
Slob.
Slob, that's all he was, a slob.
Oh, Alan, please tell me what this is all about. You go home with a migraine headache, and then you call up and get me out in the middle of the night. And you keep drinking, but you won't tell me what's the matter.
What's the matter? That's a funny one. Come here, come close. I'm going to tell you something.
Alan, you're hurting my arm.
Listen to me. You want to know something? You know how trees think? They think real long, and slow, and peaceful, and sometimes they take all winter just to think one little thought.
Trees? Thinking?
Oh, it isn't real thinking, it's just living, you know? You hear them living, calm and quiet and slow. And cats. Listen to me, baby, you know how cats think?
No.
Well, cats think sort of S-shaped, like a snake crawling. And dogs, dogs are all excited. Up and down, like a pogo stick. Even when they're dreaming. Everything thinks. Do you know that, Jeannie? Everything. All day long. Forever. Never. Everything goes on thinking. As long as they live. And when they're dying.
Alan, are you cold? Let me hold you. Oh, you're shivering like crazy.
Give me a drink, miss.
Sweetheart, you've had enough.
I want a drink, I said. Here, give me yours. You're not touching it anyway.
Alan, I really think you shouldn't be...
Look, I got a better idea. Tell you what, let's get out of here, huh? Let's get out of this town tonight, and we'll go far away where she can never find us. We'll take my car and we'll head south. Right now. We can buy what we need as we go. We get married on the way. What do you say, Jeannie?
Well, Alan, I...
You love me. Don't you love me, baby? You said you'd always do anything I ever wanted. Well, this is what I want. Get out tonight. And don't worry about money. I got lots of it.
You have?
Sure.
Where did you get a lot of money all of a sudden?
I'll tell you when we're on the road, okay? Well, answer me. Or I'll leave you behind here.
Alan, you wouldn't go off and leave me.
Of course not, honey. But I gotta go. There's no two choices about it, and I gotta go now. Now, you're coming with me, aren't you?
Well,
One of the worst things about a conscience is that the darn thing is always going with you wherever you are. Alan had something other than a conscience, and running away didn't do much good. You know, telepathy has no distance limitations.
Alan.
What?
It's starting to get light. Alan, you never did tell me where you got the money.
Not now. Can't you see I'm out of my feet?
Well, we could stop and get a couple of hotel rooms somewhere.
No, we've got to keep driving.
But we're nearly 100 miles out of town already. You keep saying we've got to keep driving, but I don't see why we couldn't stop for just a few hours.
Oh, shut up, will you?
Alan.
You don't like it? Get out and take a bus back. Who needs you?
I don't know what's wrong with you. You never used to be like this. Then last night...
Well, just shut up!
Alan.
What?
Nothing.
Alan.
I'm not turning back.
Yes, you are, Alan. This time you're turning back, even if I have to make you.
Make me, then.
Alan, you're slowing down.
She's making me. She's making me. Talk out loud.
You look in pretty bad shape.
Give me a cigarette.
There's some on the desk. I'm glad you came right back here when I turned you around. Shows there's some hope.
Oh, cut it out. What did you stop me for?
That watchman. It was you, Alan, wasn't it?
What watchman?
Alan.
All right. Yes, it was me. He was a slob, so he's dead. So what?
The gun you beat him to death with is in your pocket right this minute.
So what?
So I'm going to have to make you go to the police and show them the gun and tell them.
You can't do that by remote control. You have to go with me.
I'll go with you.
And what will you tell them about how you happen to know all this? How about that?
I will tell them.
What about us? About me and you? About you?
I don't want
to...
to...
Are you crazy? You know what that would mean? You think they'd believe you? And if they did, what would it be for the rest of your life? You'd be owned, Laurie. Owned, guarded and locked away by them. The slobs, like a piece of machinery, made to do what they wanted you to do for them. You'd never be free again.
All I ever wanted was what any woman wants, the chance to lead a normal life. Look at me, Alan. I'm not bad-looking. I never was. But the only man I could ever have been a normal wife to was you, and you never grew up. You've been a selfish little boy all your life, and I've paid for it.
Why didn't you leave me alone? Just leave me alone.
Leave you alone? Do you think you ever really wanted me to leave you alone? I was forced to love you the same way the only woman in the world would be forced to love the only man in the world. Well, now it's too late. I can't let you kill again.
Then do it. Go ahead, handcuff me with that mind of yours. Take me to the cops. Make them believe you. Do you think that'll stop me? Do you think there's any jail that can hold me, any guards that can keep me? Go ahead. You're the only force in this world that can chain me, and you can't watch me 24 hours a day. You've got to sleep sometimes, and... Laurie, you're choking.
You would break loose, wouldn't you, Alan? You would kill again, in spite of all I could do to stop you. All right, you can breathe now. No, don't look at me like that. I'm not going to kill you. Even now, I can't do that. That gun of yours is in your inside pocket. Lift your right hand, Alan. Put it inside your coat. Now, take out the gun. Don't try to fight my will, Alan. You know it's no use. Now, you will point it at me.
No, Laurie, not you. Anyone but you. Not you, Laurie, not you!
Alan, it's me, Jeannie. Darling, can't you hear me?
Jeannie.
Sweetheart, just try to move your finger. Or your eyes. Just move your eyes a little so I'll know you'll hear me.
Jeannie, I can't move. I can't do anything. Help me. It's like being buried alive. I'm paralyzed. Help me. Laurie, come back and help me. Laurie.
And so Alan had his wish fulfilled. Alan wanted immunity from consequences of his actions. There's only one way to achieve it, and he achieved it. If you do nothing, if you have no actions whatever, then you have immunity from consequences. And that's the only way. Otherwise, you're responsible for what you do, whether you like it or not.
Join us for a fascinating adventure in Exploring Tomorrow. Heard in our cast tonight were Mandel Kramer and Bryna Rayburn. Script was by Gordon Dixon. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. Bill Maher speaking.
We pause now for station identification.
Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman who today brings the exciting hunt for buried treasure to a somewhat successful end, unaware that meanwhile, more serious trouble is brewing in Metropolis for his friends. When Pierre, the caretaker of Perry White's old homestead in Maine, admitted to Superman that he was a black market operator and that the 4 dwarfs were his helpers, only part of the mystery in the woods was solved. Then Peter and Paul, the 2 elder dwarfs, confessed that they had stolen a map from White, showing where $1 million in English money was supposedly buried, but insisted that the map was in the possession of their brothers Jacob and Esau. Locking the 3 conspirators in a cabin, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, led White and Jimmy to a cave near the sea, where they found the midget twins Jacob and Esau unconscious. A newly dug hole in the floor of the cave disclosed an ancient rusty treasure chest, which was empty. As we continue now, Kent is kneeling anxiously beside the motionless dwarfs, while White and Jimmy stand by nervously. Suddenly, one of the little men moves.
Oh, he's alive.
They're both alive, Jim.
Well, that's swell.
No, is it? So where's the $1 million in gold? The chest's empty. They stole it.
Oh, I'm sure they didn't. They're good dwarfs. Peter and Paul are the bad ones.
They're all bad. If you ask
Wait a
me...
minute, he's trying to talk.
Where?
Take it easy now. Which one is he, Jim?
I think he's Jacob.
Well, how can you tell? There's the like as 2 peas in a pod.
Oh, my head.
Oh, never mind your head. What happened? Where's my treasure?
Oh, treasure? Oh, dear, the treasure. Oh, Esau, don't let him take it. Esau, stop, Salvador, stop.
Huh?
Salvador?
Stop.
Sure, don't you remember? Jacob and Esau told us they were working with a man named Salvador.
Oh, yeah.
What about Salvador, Jacob?
Why, it's Mr. Kent.
That's right.
And Mr. White, Master Olson. Oh, no, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me,
Oh,
please
we
don't.
won't, Jacob.
No, we won't if you tell us the truth. Now, where's my treasure? You found it here, didn't you?
Yes, we...
There, you see, Kent?
Oh, what happened to Esau?
Same thing had happened to you, apparently. He was hit on the head, but he'll be all right. Now, what happened to the treasure?
Salvador. That terrible Salvador did it. He came in just when we dug up all the lovely money. He wanted us to give it to him, but we wouldn't. Then
Just a minute. Where did Salvador go, Jacob?
Where?
Yes.
I don't know. Back to his ship, maybe. Oh, all the lovely money.
What ship?
His fishing schooner.
Kent, we've got to contact the Coast Guard and have this Salvador picked up. He's in the gang, and he's got the treasure.
My $250,000. Hey, where's the telephone?
No, we're miles from a telephone in these woods. That fellow will get away.
No, he won't. You both stay here.
Well, where are you going, Kent? I tell you, there's no telephone within miles.
Don't worry. I've got a little idea. Stay right there now. I'll be back soon.
Oh, Kent, you come back here. You're crazy.
Here we are. Behind these trees will do. Now, out of these clothes in a hurry. If Salvador owns a fishing schooner, he must have headed for it.
And Superman will find him. There we are, all set. Up and away! Now, that's Pirate's Cove down there. And, yes, there is an anchored fishing schooner. Well, I'll just go to... Wait a minute. There's a rowboat going out to the schooner. And a black-bearded man in it. I've got a hunch that's Salvador. Down to that rowboat. Down!
Oh, what the...
You're Salvador, I believe.
Yes, well, who are you? Where'd you come from?
From a certain cave, my friend, where you... I see you've got a large sack here full of English gold crowns. I'll take that if you don't mind.
No, keep your hands off.
Come on.
Let me go.
Now, here we go. Wait a minute. There are 200,000 English pounds in this sack.
So what? Let me go, I said.
Nothing doing. We're going back to the cave. Up and away!
Clutching the terrified black-bearded ruffian under his arm, Superman streaks back to the cave in the woods where he had left Perry White and Jimmy Olsen, only to discover as he lands at the entrance that Salvador, his human cargo, has fainted from sheer fright. Ducking back into the woods, Superman assumes the guise of Clark Kent and again approaches the cave, calling to White and Jimmy.
Chief! Jimmy! Come on out!
Oh, leaping lizards, what's happened?
Come on out and you'll see.
Jehovah. Who's that man on the ground?
Salvador, in person.
Well, where'd you find him?
Never mind that now. I've got some bad news for you, Chief.
The gold. The $1 million. It's gone.
Oh, no, not quite. It was never there, so it can't be gone.
Well, what do you mean? Now, stop talking around in bushes.
What?
I mean beating in around in circles. Oh, you know what I mean.
Well, it's very simple. Someone made a mistake on that map. It wasn't 200,000 pounds in English money. It was 2,000 pounds. $10,000, roughly.
Well, how do you know?
I'm quite sure of it. However, there is enough in this sack to buy Jimmy's mother a house, and that's what really counts, doesn't it?
Oh, I suppose so. All this trouble for $10,000.
Oh, it's going to look like $1 million to my mother, Mr. White.
And now what about this black-bearded bandit? What about Pierre and the 2 no-good dwarfs?
Well, we'll take the whole kit and caboodle of them back to town and turn them over to the sheriff.
Well, what about the 2 in the cave? The good ones?
Oh, they're coming back with us to Metropolis.
What?
I'm going to get them jobs in my aunt's circus.
Good boy, Jim.
Well, let's get started then. I want a hot bath, a decent bed to sleep in, and no more excitement for a year.
Well, the bath and the bed we can guarantee.
you're right. There is no telling. In fact, even at this very moment, something is happening in Metropolis that will make your Northwoods adventure seem like child's play. A new and much greater danger is slowly taking shape and form. Someone very close to you is in the shadow of death. We'll return in a moment to find out what the danger is and whom it is about to strike. But first, here's your announcer.
You know, Pep Gang, it seems easy to get the full second series of four-colored insignia and warplane buttons that come in packages of Kellogg's Pep. Of course, you know that there are 8 Army Air Squadron insignia, 3 Marine insignia, 7 Navy insignia, and 4 warplane buttons. 22 sparkling buttes in all, each one a real eye-catcher. Boy, what really swell prizes they are. Dramatic looking, with brilliant designs that sure do stand out against a pure white background. For instance, one favorite of mine is that bright blue eagle flying into white clouds and carrying death-dealing red bombs. That's the insignia of the 70th Bombardment Squadron, and it's sure a honey. Now, there's only one way to get these smart-looking Kellogg's Pep buttons. You can't buy them anywhere. They come only in packages of Kellogg's Pep. You don't send in a penny, not even a box top. You just make sure that Mom gets a good supply of Pep for your house. Kellogg's Pep, that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal that's so good to eat and so good for you. Then you look inside each package for your prize, a smart-looking insignia or warplane button. You'll find the button at the bottom of the package in between the carton and the inner wax bag. It's your prize from P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. While Superman was winding up the mystery of the North Woods, a strange scene boding serious danger for the Man of Steel and his friends is taking place. In Playland, an amusement park on the outskirts of Metropolis, a wooden conical structure built to resemble a small lighthouse stands beside a concession known as the River of Horrors. Inside the false lighthouse is a single dark circular room, windowless and lit dimly by one shaded lamp. In an armchair beside the lamp sits a heavy-set middle-aged man, dressed in well-tailored clothes and wearing a massive signet ring glittering on his right hand. His few remaining thin gray hairs are combed carefully across a large, well-shaped head, and in appearance he could well pass for a prosperous banker or doctor. Now his regular but heavy features are set in a twisting scowl, and his deeply pouched small eyes, set under almost hairless brows, flash angry fire at the pretty dark-haired girl who sits in a chair across from him, her manicured fingers playing nervously with strings of cheap pearls which fall in many loops over a flashy red dress. She's waiting for another outburst from the heavy-set man, and soon it comes.
You're a fool, Dixie. Stupid, ignorant fool. Wouldn't endanger all of us. I'd willingly turn you over to the police. That you pay for your stupidity in the electric chair.
Please don't talk that way, Dr. Bly. I couldn't help what I'd done. When this dumb dick makes a pass at me,
You shot him. You shot a federal officer. You know what that means?
Yeah, sure. But I had to leave him have it. When I saw this dick waiting for me in the hotel lobby, and he says to me like the jig is up, Miss Dixie Lamar, I believe. Well, I just lost my head.
Yes, obviously.
Well, I had my gun in my bag, and my hand just naturally pulled it out, and, well, I let him have it.
With a dozen people in the lobby to see you and identify you. How many times have I told you not to carry a gun? And haven't I drilled and drilled into you that if you're ever arrested to go along peaceably?
Yeah, I know. Doc, I lost my head.
Your head would be no great loss. It's my head that's in danger now. And others who are valuable to me. If the police get you, I'm ruined. Ruined, do you understand?
How about me? I'm the one with the murder rap. I'm the one who'll burn if they nab me.
A small loss indeed. Oh, why did I ever get mixed up with an empty head like you?
Because you needed me to help you catch the suckers for your phony oil stock racket, that's why. I did my share. Now you've got to get me out of this mess.
Yes, of course, but how? We can't keep you locked up in this amusement park for more than another week. Closes for the season on the 15th, you know.
It does. Gee, what'll we do?
Hi, Gates.
Who's that?
Take it easy, relax. It's me.
It's only Happy.
What's the idea, Happy? Why didn't you give the knock before you unlocked the door?
Hold everything, Doctor. I got no time for knocking on doors. Me, I'm cooking with gas. Did I say gas? I mean that stuff in the atom bombs. What I mean is I'm hot, see?
Look, this ain't no time for jitterbug and jive, Happy.
We're in trouble. Serious trouble.
Ain't I hip to that, boss? Sure I am. So that's why I'm waltzing in with this.
With what?
This newspaper here. Dig what you see here. Dig it good, Jackson.
Will you stop waving that newspaper in front of my face, you oaf?
Go on, Doctor. Dig that paper. Look at the dream puss right there. See? Who does she look like, huh?
Well,
right there.
Good heavens. They've got a picture of Dixie in the Daily Planet.
My picture? No, they couldn't.
Relax, sister. Let your hair down. You too, Doctor. What's left of your hair, I mean. Read what it says under the picture of the slick chick. Go on.
Miss Lois Lane, star reporter of the Daily Planet, to her address.
Lois Lane?
This isn't Dixie.
It ain't? Let me see. Course it ain't, but this newspaper, Donnie's a dead ringer for you, baby. I says to myself when I see it, I says, this is schmaltzy. There ought to be something here, happy old mellow man. Show it to the doc, the big-time operator. He's smart. He'll dig the lowdown on it, I says.
This Lois Lane is a double for you, Dixie.
Yeah. I'd swear she was neat.
Yes. So will all those witnesses who saw you shoot the federal man. I've got it.
Got what, Doc?
You dig something, Jackson?
I see the way out of our difficulty. Yes. All our troubles are over. Why, this is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Chuckling, the man known as Dr. Bly looks gloatingly at the photograph of Lois Lane in the Daily Planet. What is in his cunning mind? What sinister scheme is he preparing for the unsuspecting Lois? Fellows and girls, don't miss tomorrow's exciting episode when we begin a fascinating new story which will try the strength and powers of Superman to the limit. Tune in, same time, same station for The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman, brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the makers of that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System. Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, and today, as we begin our brand new adventure for the Man of Steel, a cunning trap is being set for the girl reporter Lois Lane. While Superman was solving the strange mystery of the dwarfs in the North Woods, a sinister plot was being prepared against Lois Lane. In danger because one of his criminal gang, a girl called Dixie Lamar, has shot and killed a federal agent, Dr. Bly, leader of the gang, was hiding out with Dixie and Happy, one of his henchmen, in an amusement park in Metropolis. The situation looked hopeless until he saw a photograph of Lois Lane in the Daily Planet. Then the cunning brain of Dr. Bly conceived a daring scheme. As we continue now, in the imitation lighthouse which fronts the River of Horrors concession at the amusement park, the middle-aged, distinguished-looking gang leader who has been gazing at Lois's picture suddenly exclaims,
This is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Dixie, your worthless life is saved. And all our troubles are over.
Oh, yeah? I don't get it. What gives?
What's the pitch, Doc? Come on, beat it out.
I imagine even you, Happy, have heard it said that everyone has a double somewhere in the world. Someone else who looks exactly like him or her.
Like doubles in the movies.
Exactly. Your double Dixie is right here in Metropolis.
Huh? You mean this reporter, Lois Lane?
Right. Look at her photo. Don't you think she's a dead ringer for Dixie?
Yeah.
So what? Just because she looks like me, I don't see
wait. I think I dig you, Doc. You mean we tip the cops this Lane dilly is Dixie, and before they have that they've got the wrong tomato, we make a getaway, huh?
Well, you almost guessed it, Happy, but you didn't go far enough. We grab Miss Lane and pass her off to the police as Dixie. But we don't stop there. We make it stick.
Huh?
Simply by proving that Miss Lane, who was a double for Dixie Lamar, murdered the federal officer. Then Miss Lane goes to the chair. We can proceed with the big plans I've arranged for us.
Gee, Doc, you're wonderful.
Wait a minute. Hold it. I don't dig you. You say we prove Miss Lane really is Dixie?
Precisely.
Well, how are we going to do that?
Say, that's right, we can't. All Miss Lane has to do is identify herself and the jig is up.
Oh, no. It's not quite so simple.
Sure it is. She's an important dame. As soon as she proves she's Miss Lane, she'll have a million foolproof alibis.
And me, I'm back in the chair again.
Just leave everything to me. I have a plan, and it can't fail.
Come on, give. What's this big caper you're cooking?
Yeah, after all, I'm the one who's
It
gonna...
will be better if you just do as I tell you and learn about it as the plan develops. And there won't be any danger of leaks. Or of Dixie losing her stupid head again.
Oh, lay off, will you, please?
What do you want us to do, Doc?
The first thing to do is to get Miss Lane down here, and as soon as possible. The FBI and the police are combing Metropolis for Dixie, and we've got to move fast.
Leave that to me, boss. I'll bring it to you.
No, not your way, Happy. It's too crude. Let me see. Something occurred to me before. Oh, yes. I have it. Dixie.
Yeah?
There's a phone book there. Look up the number of the Daily Planet.
Okay. That's a newspaper, huh?
Yes. Now, Happy, That brother-in-law of yours. The one who owns this River of Horrors concession. How far can he be trusted?
Archie, he's strictly a solid sender.
If I translate that silly jive talk correctly, you mean he can be trusted, right?
You hear me talking? And besides, he don't dare cross me up on account he knows if he just tried...
Spare me the horrific details. Haven't you found the number yet, Dixie?
Yeah. Here it is, Doc. Daily Planet, Central 20400.
Central 20400. Good. Get it for me.
Okay.
While I'm talking, both of you keep quiet. Understand?
Great. If Dixie just opens her kisser, I'll slap it shut for her.
You just lay a finger on me, you daffy jitterbug, and I'll...
Shut up, you fools. Give me that phone.
Daily Planet.
I'd like to speak with Miss Lois Lane.
Just a minute. I'll ring her.
Remember, not a word out of you two.
Lois Lane speaking.
Miss Lane, this is the press agent for Playland, the famous amusement park, you know?
Playland? Oh, yes.
You probably know that we have celebrity nights here several times a month, at which time we select the outstanding man or woman in his or her particular field or profession.
Really?
Yes, we name the night in their honor and present this celebrity to the great crowd at Playland.
I see.
Permit them to see the famous person they've read and heard so much about. Now, for tonight, Miss Lane, we've selected you.
Well, that's fine. I think that... Who, me?
Yes. We've chosen you as the outstanding newspaper reporter of Metropolis, and we hereby invite you to Lois Lane Night at Playland.
Well, that's quite an honor, but I...
No, don't be so modest, Miss Lane. Everyone has heard about you and is anxious to see you. Now, I realize we're not giving you much advance notice, but we do hope you can arrange to be here tonight to meet your loyal public.
I'm certainly very flattered, Mr.
Hemingway. Robert Hemingway.
Mr. Hemingway, but I have an engagement for this evening.
I'm sure you can postpone your engagement for such an important occasion as this, Miss Lane. You have no idea how much you're admired and respected.
Oh, now.
And how eager the young people are to see you, especially those who hope to be journalists and follow in your footsteps. Your appearance will be a great inspiration to them.
Well, when you put it that way, it's hard to refuse.
You'll appear tonight, then.
Well, yes, I'll be there.
That's splendid. I'll send a car for you.
That won't be necessary. Now that gas restrictions are lifted, I'm driving my own car again. What time do you want me there?
Shall we say 8 o'clock?
Good, I'll be there at 8. And thank you very much, Mr. Hemingway.
Thank you, Miss Lane. I'll meet you at the park gate at 8 o'clock. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
It worked, huh, boss?
She fell for the gag?
They went for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, boy, are you a smoothie, Doc. Yeah, but look it. What are you going to do when she gets here?
I'm going to arrange that now. Come on, Happy.
Okay, boss.
Yeah.
You stay here, Dixie. Don't dare try to leave this room.
Don't worry. With every cop in Metropolis looking for me, I wouldn't poke my nose out of this phony lighthouse for love or money.
You take no chances. Lock the door, Happy.
Okay, Doc.
Now, take him to your brother-in-law.
Sure, this way. He's around in front of the ticket booth.
His small, deeply pouched eyes gleaming in his heavy, colorless face, Dr. Bly follows Happy through the gay crowds to set his trap for Lois Lane. We'll return in a moment for the climax of today's episode. But first, here again is our good friend.
Say, Pep Gang, just close your eyes a minute and imagine that you have all the Air Squadron insignia and warplane buttons you could possibly want. Wouldn't that be terrific? Well, of course there aren't that many, naturally, but there are 22 new ones in the Kellogg's Pep second series that I'll bet'll make your eyes pop. Brilliant four-colored Army, Navy, and Marine Air Squadron insignia and warplane buttons. Yes, gang, they're really something. You know, kids everywhere are writing me saying what a great kick they get out of swapping these impressive-looking buttons. They like the way the red, black, blue, and yellow colors stand out against the pure white enameled background when they wear them on their caps, sweaters, or jackets. There's no question about it, gang. These Kellogg's Pep buttons are getting more popular every day. But as I told you before, you can't buy these snazzy buttons anywhere. Nope, they come only in packages of Kellogg's Pep. You needn't send in a single penny, not even a box stop. All you do is to see to it that Mom puts in a good supply of Kellogg's Pep at your house. Then you look in the packages for your prizes. Now, there's a prize for you in every package of Kellogg's Pep, right there in the bottom of the package. An Army, Navy, or Marine Air Squadron insignia or warplane button. You'll find the button between the carton and the inner wax bag. It's a prize for you from P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman.
Shortly after Lois Lane had accepted Dr. Bly's invitation to be guest of honor at Playland that evening, Clark Kent, Perry White, and Jimmy Olsen returned to the Daily Planet from the Maine woods. In Lois's office now, with Kent looking on, Jimmy is completing a vivid description of their experiences to the girl reporter.
And Peter and Paul, they're the bad dwarfs, are in jail with Pierre and Salvador. And Jacob and Esau...
They're the good dwarfs, Jim.
That's right. They're on their way to my Aunt Isabel and Cousin Ginger's circus. I got 'em jobs there. And get this, Miss Lane. Mr. White gave me all the buried treasure. It comes to almost $10,000.
Why, Jim.
And I'm going to build her or buy a house for my mother with it.
Well.
Pretty nice of the chief, hey, Lois?
It certainly is, Clark. But I don't understand this. I thought the map said there was $1 million in buried treasure, and Jim's share was to be 1/4 of it.
Well, the pirates, or whoever buried the treasure in Pirates' Cove a long time ago, either made a mistake in counting, or else they came back and removed most of the treasure after they'd buried it.
Oh.
What's happened with you while we were gone, Lois? Anything exciting?
Well, I didn't get a scoop while you were gone, but something else very nice happened to me.
It did?
What's that, Lois?
Oh, that would be telling. You'll find out in due time.
Oh, come on, tell us, Miss Lane.
Not yet.
Prefer to be mysterious, huh?
Uh-huh. But I'll tell you this much, Clark.
What?
When you find out about it, you'll realize that you're not as great a reporter as you think you are.
Is that so? Well, now, what makes you say
Just
that?
a minute, excuse me, that's my phone. Lois Lane speaking.
Mr. Kent there, Miss Lane?
Yes, he is.
Please tell him Mr. White wants to see him right away.
Okay, certainly. Chief wants you, Clark.
Oh, thanks. Don't go away. I want to hear more about this mysterious thing.
Oh, now, come on, Miss Lane. Tell me what gives.
I'll tell you what, though, Jim. I'll give you a chance to find out.
What do you mean?
How would you like to go to Playland this evening?
Playland? Oh, sure, you bet. They got a terrific giant roller coaster there, and Uh-oh, I forgot. I got a date with Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson? Oh, the boy we found in the boat that time.
That's right. Dick's a swell guy, but every time I tell him something about Superman, he comes back at me with something he heard or read about Batman.
Oh, Jim.
So when we landed at the airport this afternoon, I called him up and made a date to have dinner with him tonight. When I tell him what Superman did up in the North Woods, maybe he'll pipe down about Batman for a while.
I see. Well, look. Maybe Dick would like to come to Playland with us.
Well, hey, I'll bet he would. I'll tell you what. I'm supposed to meet him at the Y in a few minutes.
Yes?
We were going to take a swim and then go to dinner. Why don't I get him and meet you for dinner? Oh, of course, you'll be our guest.
Well, we'll argue about the guest part later. You go ahead. You get Dick and meet me downstairs in 15 minutes. I'll pick up my car first.
Okay. Gee, that's swell, Miss Lane.
Hey, what's all the
Oh, I can't tell you now. See you later, Mr. Kent.
What the... What goes on here, Lois?
I haven't time to explain, Clark. I've got to rush, too.
Wait a minute. What's the hurry? Big day?
Oh, if you only knew.
I only knew what? What is all this mystery tonight?
You'll find out.
You said that before.
And
but
I say it again. So long, Clark.
Oh, so long.
See you in jail.
Yeah, sure. You'll see me... What?
Jail. You know, the place with the iron bars and the men in blue coats and brass buttons. So long.
Oh, wait, Lois. Look, I want to know what... Well, now, how do you like that? What in the world goes on here, I wonder?
Perplexed, Kent takes a step as if to follow Lois, then changes his mind, unaware that he is permitting Lois, and Jimmy also, to walk into serious danger. The sinister jaws of Dr. Bly's trap are about to snap shut. Will they catch Lois? And what of Jimmy and Dick Grayson, who is in reality Robin, youthful companion of the famous Batman? There are thrills and excitement ahead, fellows and girls, so don't miss a single episode of our new story. Tune in tomorrow, same time, same station, and listen to The Adventures of Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow The Adventures of Superman, brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the makers of that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Publications. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett. Hey, Cadet. Stand by to raise shift. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's rolling rocket rockets blast off the distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. It is a holiday on the planet Venus, a holiday celebrating the date 100 years before when the Earth colonies were granted independence and the cloudy planet took its place in the Solar Alliance. For Space Cadets Tom Corbett, Roger Manning, and Astro, it is a holiday from duty, the beginning of a week's leave. And in an old and somewhat battered jet launch belonging to Astro's family, the boys skim over the lush Venusian jungles. It's a beautiful day, a perfect beginning for a vacation. Yet, as usual, Roger finds a reason to complain.
Look, Astro, as long as I was spin dizzy enough to say I'd go fishing with you, I'd like to get there. Won't the sliver go any faster?
Relax, Roger. We'll be in Goldtown soon.
There's a difference, you know, Roger, between spaceships and jet launches. Sure, and there's a difference between jet launches and walking, but I'll take walking. Hey, that's an idea, Astro. Why not drop him off in the jungle and let him walk?
Suits me. He might last an hour, with luck.
You Venusians sure are proud of having the crummiest jungle in the solar system.
Sure. Fighting that jungle made my father and his father before him tough enough to win the independence we're celebrating now.
The way I heard it, Venus got its independence because nobody wanted it. I wouldn't mind owning a piece of it, especially like this place where we'll meet Astro's uncle. You mean Goldtown? I never even heard of it before.
You will. It already produces about 1/5 of all the gold found on Venus. And a new company has opened up an even richer vein. Almost pure gold and lots of it.
Who cares about gold now? It's space full of really important minerals. Oh? Well, Astro, I guess Roger won't want any of those nuggets. Huh? You know, the gold nuggets. Didn't your uncle say we could get a few big ones for souvenirs?
Oh, yeah, those. But as long as you're not interested, Roger.
I'm not interested. They'd be worth plenty. Gold is... Hey, you jokers aren't kidding me, are you? Where'd you get that idea, Space Boy?
Why, you can pick them up big as your head. Pin size.
Go blow your jets. Hey, Astro, that the town, those roofs down there?
Uh-huh. We'll be there in a second. I'll drop lower so you can get a look at it.
I bet the town will be pretty lively today. All the miners and their families will be celebrating the holiday.
Yeah, everybody always turns out for... Hey, that's funny.
So that's what you call a boom town. Oh, brother, what a dead joint.
Yeah, dead is right. And this is always a lively place, even on ordinary days.
Hey, this isn't a gag, is it?
Well, it can't be. I don't understand.
Astro, look down there. Glass all over the street. Storefronts have been smashed in.
And there's a wrecked jet car. And another.
Land this sliver fast, Astro. We better find out what's happened.
My uncle's store is down the street. Hurry, fellas.
Sure, Astro. But there's not a chance of him being there. I never saw anything like this. Why, it's a ghost town. Yes, Roger. Only this ghost town didn't die quietly. I'll say it didn't. Doors broken in, houses wrecked.
And everybody gone. Men, women, and kids. What could have happened?
Well, Gold Town's surrounded by a jungle full of prehistoric monsters, isn't it? Dinosaurs, Tyrannosaurus. They're not prehistoric on Venus, Roger. Well, that's what I mean. They're alive. Maybe a bunch of them attacked the town. Maybe, but they didn't. Men are behind this. All radio equipment has been destroyed. And you can see there's been some looting.
Here's my uncle's store. Come on inside.
It's empty, like all the others. And wrecked even worse. The shelves have all been cleaned up by the rings of Saturn. Roger, look behind the counter. A man still holding on to an old-fashioned rifle.
What is it, Tom? Did you find anything?
Better stay back, Astro.
No, let me see.
Oh, no. Is it your uncle?
No. His partner, old Peter Adams. He used to tell me stories when I was a kid, and now...
Easy, Astro. Get a grip on yourself.
I'm okay, Tom. But what could have happened here? Where's Uncle Carl and everybody else? And who wrecked Goldtown?
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by. Spaceman, next time you get swell-tasting Kellogg's Pep, you'll get something mighty special right along with it. Just look on the back of the Pep package and you'll see what I mean. Every regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep has a Space Cadet picture cut out on the back. Now, you want to get the whole collection. Then you can build up a Space Cadet scene showing the cadets ready to blast off on a rocket flight or speeding through outer space in the Polaris. Each Space Cadet picture cutout is made from a detailed full-length photograph, and each picture shows you one of the official Space Cadet uniforms. Start your collection now. get a package of Kellogg's Pep and have Pep for breakfast every morning. You'll enjoy that rich whole wheat and malt flavor. And with milk and sugar and maybe fruit, Kellogg's Pep is a dish that just starts you off right. When you finish the box, you're all ready to cut out the Space Cadet picture for your collection. Get all 4 Space Cadet picture cutouts. There's one of Astro, Roger, Tom Corbett, and Dr. Joan Dale. And if you get 2 of a kind, why, you can trade them with your pals for the one that you don't have. It's loads of fun, so start collecting Space Cadet picture cutouts right away. Remember, you get another Space Cadet cutout on the back of every regular-sized package of the Build-Up Wheat Cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Arriving at the isolated mining village of Goldtown on Venus, where they expected to enjoy a week's leave, the Space Cadets find the little town has suffered a mysterious raid of almost unbelievable violence. And when Astro leads them to his uncle's store, they make another shocking discovery: the dead body of Uncle Carl's partner. And there is no sign of any living person. The town is completely deserted.
We have to get word to the Solar Guard, fellas, and that means flying back the way we came in the jet launch. This is too big a job for us to tackle alone.
Well, okay, but first I'm going to fly over the mining and processing area. It's in another clearing north of here.
North, but that's out of our way.
It won't take long. And if there's any reason for this, it must be the gold.
Yeah, makes sense all right, Astro. Besides, maybe we'll find something definite to report to the guard.
For you to report. If any of the murdering rats are up there, I'm staying
Don't
here.
be space happy, Astro. You can't fight a gang all by yourself, even if your uncle is captured.
No, it's not just him or Peter Adams. It's all the people of Goldtown. They're Venusians like me, and I know most of them. I was brought up here, and... Oh, well, I guess you fellas can't understand.
I think we do, Astro. Come on, let's get moving.
We're almost over the mining area, fellas. Keep your eyes peeled.
Hey, look over there to the left. There seems to be a break in the jungle. It must be the clearing.
Yeah, I see some chimneys. Well, that's the processing plant, Roger. The mines are right near it. Hey, look. There's a big crowd down there.
That's our answer, Astro. Those must be the people of Goldtown loading those 2 space freighters with armed men all around to make them do it.
Dirty space crawlers stealing all the gold and making our people do the work for them.
They have other workers, too. Look, giant robots. Like the ones we ran into on Mercury. I thought the men there must be part of a larger gang.
Galaxy, how did they get here?
Who cares? They're here, and they're going to be tough to lick.
Guns and robots. No wonder they were able to capture everybody. And Peter Adams tried to stop them with a rifle.
Hey, wait a minute. I think we've been spotted. They're looking up here.
Maybe we'll scare them off.
No, Astro. Look, there's a rocket gun mounted in the clearing. They're training it on us. Start dodging, Astro. Yes, get this crate out of here fast.
Okay, hang on.
Doc, here comes a warhead.
That was too close. Tom, maybe you'd better take the controls.
Too late to switch now. Just keep dodging and open the jets wide. We're out of sight, fellas. I guess we're safe now. That was a nice job of tree-hopping, Astro. You kept them from getting a good shot at us.
Well, thanks, Tom, but we may not be in the clear yet.
You mean the robots?
Yeah, if the gang sends them after us, we'll be in trouble.
Jumping Jupiter, I forgot about them. They could catch this bag of bolts and make scrap of it in 2 minutes. They sure could, but I don't see any of them following us, and the killer should have them in the air by now.
Well, they would if they wanted to use them. Maybe they don't want to tip their hand by showing the robots.
Or maybe they didn't want to take them off the job. Looks as if they were getting pretty near the end. Well, maybe. It's funny reasoning, but lucky for us. Now we can go and get the Solar Guard after them.
Yeah, you do that. I'll circle back and land as close as I can. Then you can take over, Tom.
You mean you still want to try and fight that gang?
I have to.
Don't be a jerk, Astro. What can you do against those robots?
Probably not much, Roger, but as you said, it looks as if they're getting near the end of the loading. Those space rats will be gone before the Solar Guard can get here.
Well, so what? Why toss your life away to try and save some gold?
It's not the gold, Roger. It's all those people. You remember the killers on Mercury didn't like to leave any witnesses. This bunch probably feels the same way.
You think they'd murder the whole population of a town?
Yep. After they're through using them as slaves.
You may be right at that, Astro. We'll have to try to help them.
We?
Sure, I'm staying with you.
Roger can go after the guard.
Wait a minute, Junior. If you two bubbleheads can be heroes, so can I. I'm joining the party.
Sorry, Roger, but our chances will be pretty slim, and someone has to send out a warning.
Oh, space dust. Why should I be the one...
Don't argue, Roger. There's no time.
All right, blast it. I'll be the messenger, boy.
Good, and while you're delivering, keep your fingers crossed for us.
This is a tough jungle you grow here, Astro. Must have taken us half an hour to come a few hundred yards. Yeah. It's hard going, Tom. It's swell of you to do this when you're not even a Venusian.
Oh, what of it? I'm a human. Forget it, pal, and keep your voice down. We're at the edge of the clearing.
Oh, look at those space crawlers. They're driving the people like cattle.
Those gold bars and bags of ore must be heavy, too. But with gunmen everywhere, the people can't even rest.
Hey, there's Uncle Carl. The gray-haired man, see?
Uh-huh. He looks pretty old to be carrying a load like that.
He can take it, I guess. He's hard as nails. Tom, look. That man, he collapsed. Great Jupiter. One of those thugs is kicking the poor guy. Oh, kill the dirty space crawler. Oh, Astro, stay down. Tom, did you hear that? They are going to kill him. Let me go.
Oh, it would be suicide. And the only way we can help these people is to stay alive and think, but fast.
Right back where we started, Tom. We've been all around the clearing, and there's no way to break that up except...
No, Astro. For the last time, we can't go charging in blindly. If we wait, we may still get a break. Or, best of all, the solar guard may get here.
You're just kidding yourself. One freighter's loaded already. The other's almost finished. Roger can never reach them in time.
Wait a minute, Astro. Listen. Ship coming this way.
Hey, you don't suppose to keep your fingers crossed. There. I see it now, Tom. It's a space yacht. It's armed, and it's coming straight for the clearing. I think it's going to attack the killers.
Not, Astro. Take a look at them.
Huh? They've made room for it to land. They've been expecting it. Blast it. More guns against us.
In a spot like this, a few more won't matter, I guess. But maybe if they sit down close to the jungle.
Oh, they won't. It's coming in right in the center of the clearing.
I wonder who those characters are.
The leaders, I guess. Look, 2 men are getting out. Hey, they're carrying someone. Great blazing comets.
It's Roger. He's unconscious.
How in blazes did they get him? He was blasting back to headquarters.
Must have intercepted him and shot him down. That's why those robots weren't sent after us.
What do you mean?
That armed yacht must have been on patrol. And this bunch just radioed an alert for the flipper.
Well, that settles it, Tom. The solar guard won't be coming. Our last chance blasted into space dust.
Yes. I guess it's up to us now.
Well?
You win, Astro. We'll make that rush you've been tugging for. At least we'll go down fighting.
That's what I've been waiting for. Come on, let's ease forward as close as we can get.
Follow me.
A little more to the left, Tom. We'll be covered by that tree.
Check.
Hey, down, quick. What's the matter?
One of those thugs is wandering over this way.
Think he saw us?
No, he's just carrying a radio control for one of the robots.
He'll be past in a couple of seconds. Then we can make our break.
No, we don't have to, Astro. This is our break.
What?
If we could grab him, we'd have his ray gun and a robot, too.
Hey, that's right. Come on, fella. This way. Get a little closer. Come on. Blast it. How do you like that? He sat down.
He's going to set up the robot control there. But he's at least 20 feet out in the clearing.
Bad as it is, we're not going to get a better chance. Let's go out and get him.
Yeah, I guess there's no other way. Blast it. If we only had a rope.
A rope? The rope's hanging all around you.
Where?
These Venusian jungle vines. They're as good as rope anytime.
Well, can we hack off a piece, a long piece?
Sure. They're brittle down near the root. I can snap a whole vine off. Wait a minute. There.
Hold still. That joker heard you. He's turning around.
Uh-oh.
Quiet. Okay. Relax. He turned back.
I guess he thought it was just an animal.
Yeah. Now, come on. Help me strip off the leaves, but quietly.
Look, would you mind telling me what we're doing?
Going fishing, Astro. Now, you see this noose I'm tying in the end? With luck, we can toss it over his head from here. Yank it tight so he can't squawk and just haul him in.
Don't you think the other jokers will see it?
Yeah, maybe, but the odds are better doing this than busting out in the clearing ourselves.
I guess you're right.
And the robot control is attached to a strap around his neck. It should come right along with him.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah. This noose should hold.
Let me try to snag it. I've got longer arms so I can reach out for it.
Okay, Astro.
Shoot. Here goes. You got him. Pull. Keep it tight around his neck. Here he comes. And nobody's looking this way. But the strap on the rubber control broke. It's falling off. I get it. No, Astro, don't let go of the line. Keep pressure on. Help! Hey! Over here! Astro, shut him up. Right. Okay, he's out. It's too late. They heard him. Come on back. Things are getting hot. Yeah, they're using heat right. Come on, let's beat it. Here, I got his gun. You take it. Thanks. Good work. You winged a couple of them. There's so many of them I can't miss. Besides, they can't see us here. We have that much advantage. They're falling back, Tom. We're beating them. Great Jupiter. What's the matter? The robots. They're sending the robots in after us. Oh, the gun's no good against them. Look at them come. That does it, Tom. We're licked.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by. K-Day! K-Day is here! K-Day! K-Day is here! All over the country, the word is going out. By telegraph, by radio, by telephone. The news is spreading like wildfire. Yes, K-Day is here. And that means that every single one of Kellogg's cereals has been dressed up in a brand new package. And now that K-Day is here, you can see those new Kellogg packages right at your grocery store. They're new, they're fun, they're exciting. And are they different? You'll see pictures of cowboys, fellows and girls playing games. You'll even see the Space Cadets. Every one of these new Kellogg packages has something exciting and different. So don't delay. Chart a course to the grocery store just as soon as you can. See the better-than-ever Kellogg cereals and newer than new Kellogg packages. Then you'll be saying,
did you see what I saw? Kellogg's on display in brand new boxes, bright and gay. These famous cereals come your way. Go see this eyeful. The Kellogg's All-Star Breakfast Show has a cheerful look, a lift for you. Start you out with a hoop-de-doo. Kellogg's for breakfast and a happy, happy day. Get a big supply today.
Yes, for a happy day, have a happy breakfast with the best-tasting cereals ever, Kellogg's.
In a desperate attempt to rescue the people of Gold Town, Tom and Astro almost succeed in gaining control of one of the gang's giant robots. But when the plan fails and the killers are alerted, the cadets are seemingly trapped as the giant, indestructible robots are sent crashing into the jungle after them.
Tom, we're finished. We can't stop those robots. They'll run us down.
Yes, if we just stay in front of them, Astro. But they can't think for themselves, and the men operating them will expect us to run back into the jungle. This is a chance to pull a fast one. Ow! Pop up that man you knocked out, and I'll put my hat on him. That'll delay them for a minute. Okay. There. Come on. Where are we going? We'll skirt around the edge of the clearing. But they're watching for us now. Not this way. Everybody's looking in the direction the robots are taking, where we were. Well, they're bound to find out we've given them the slip. Sure, but not in time, I hope. We'll cut around to that loaded freighter, the one nearest the jungle, and climb in while they're looking the other way. We can't, Tom. The guards are still in the airlock. We won't use it. Then how? You're a power man, Astro. Can't you think of another way to get in? Hey, wait a minute. The rocket tube's in the clean-out hatch. Right. We'll have to slide through the tube fast. There'll be radioactivity. It's worth it to get to those big guns. You bet it is. Step it up, Tom. We've got to work fast. Come on, Tom. The main deck's empty. Climb in. Wow, we made it. And those space rats think we're still in the jungle. Oh, we'll show them how wrong they are. Let me at those rocket guns. Right. I'll take this one. You get on the starboard gun mount. All set. But, Tom, be careful not to hurt any of the gold towners. Don't worry. First, we'll pick off the gang's heavy stuff. The rocket gun mounted in the clearing and the robot. I'll knock off the gun. You work on the robots. Check. Ready? Fire! Hey, I nailed the gun. Nothing but junk now. Good. One robot's down, but they're tough. You better get on them, too. Right. Look at those space rats. They don't know what's happening. They're going crazy. I wonder how they like being on the receiving end for a change. Hey, Tom, some of the gold towners are slugging their guards. They're getting into the scrap. Watch your fire. Uh-oh, there's a robot getting into the fight. It's over on your side, Tom. Blast it. No, wait. It's going after the killers. One of the gold towners must have grabbed the controls. Hey, what do you know, Astro? Look. It's Roger. He's all right. It sounds like jets. It is. The space yacht is blasting off. Well, nail it, Astro. Pull it on. It's too fast and heading straight up.
Can't get these guns to a sharp enough angle. Now they're gone. Yeah, too bad we knocked out the blaster in the clearing. That might have been... Great galaxy. Now the other freighter is taking off on the other side of us. Swing your gun around quick. Forget it, Astro. We're too late. Blasted a few seconds sooner, we could have clobbered them. A freighter can't climb like a yacht. That's why the yacht went first, to draw our attention. Well, there's just one thing to do. Go after them right now. Oh, we can't, Tom. Why not? The Gold Towners are swarming all around our ship. In fact, they're coming in. And look who's leading the crowd. Hiya, Roger.
Hiya, fellas. Nice going. We really lowered the boom on those crumbs, didn't we?
Hey, you okay, Roger?
Sure. It'll take more than those space crawlers to get rid of me.
He's okay.
And listen, I saw your uncle.
You did?
Don't worry about him. He's in great shape. Right now, he's helping some of the wounded.
Oh, I want to go out and talk to him. All right, Tom?
Sure. But hurry back. We still have to nail those killers.
Oh, that's fine with me.
How about you, Roger? Naturally, Junior. After all, that's what I came to Venus for. A nice, quiet vacation.
Don't miss the next action-packed episode with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when the crew of the Polaris search for the killers but find danger in Part 2 of Holiday of Terror. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast are Jan Merlin and Al Markham. Today's program was written by Don Hughes, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
You were trapped in the native quarter of Mozambique. 2 dead men at your feet, the police closing in on you. And beside you, a sultry girl who offers you escape.
Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and carefully contrived to free you from the 4 walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight we escape to Portuguese East Africa, to the fetid alleys and dangerous rooftops of Mozambique, in the highly incredible yet somehow thoroughly plausible adventure by Percival Gibbon, entitled The Second Class Passenger.
That's me, Ronald A. Dawson, second-class passenger. Oh, I could have afforded first class by pinching a little here and there, but nobody back at Rawson's department store in Cedar Rapids will ever know. The important thing is they're saying Ronald Dawson in drapery is taking a cruise around the world. And then there's really very little difference in the accommodations. And the second-class passengers are every bit as interesting as the first-class crowd. Take Miss Patterson, for instance. You'd look far to find a more charming, likable, altogether desirable young lady. Just the life of the party. We've gotten to be quite good friends by the time our cruise put in at Mozambique. Although the competition was always stiff, I can tell you. There were times I wish those other 2, Jones and Twitchell, had missed the boat somewhere along the line.
Well, we've still a good couple of hours before we sail.
How about a ride in one of these native carriages, Miss Patterson?
Oh, dear, do you think they'd be clean?
Personally, I doubt it.
Although I don't know as I should care too much now. That Wuzo made me so woozy.
Great stuff, Uzo. It would take a Greek to think up a drink like that.
Or to drink it.
American gentlemen like to buy pictures?
No.
Very interesting pictures. Take a look.
Oh? No. Go away.
You know, we might do the fort, though. The guidebook says it's the main point of interest. Now, let's see. Built by the Portuguese in 1600.
Oh, dear, never mind the statistics. I dare say the fort would be as dreary as the rest of the place.
Oh, yes. Mozambique's not at all like what you would imagine Mozambique to be like.
Well, it's a one-horse town, all right. Main street and a couple of alleys.
Oh, and it's so dirty. You know, you'd think they'd do something about it in this day and age.
Oh.
I'd like to buy a fine knife.
No.
Field Point. Look, all fine work. Him belongs to big Tanganyika chief.
I said no.
Maybe someday wanna need fine sharp knife.
No. Now, get out. What did I need a knife for?
To protect yourself from the savage natives, old man.
All you'd have to do is call a policeman. He isn't doing anything else. You see him? Look at him out in the center of the street directing traffic like he was at the corner of State and Madison.
Then the traffic consists of 2 donkeys and an ox cart.
Yeah.
It will be a relief to get back on board ship and have a nice hot bath.
Yes, and real American food instead of that greasy fried octopus we had for lunch at that Greek place.
Oh, my, weren't they awful?
That's part of the broadening experience of travel.
Yes, I suppose so. Like that cute idol that I bought. I can't wait to show that to the girls at the bank. You know, oh, dear, Miss Dawson.
Yes, Miss Patterson?
Where's my idol?
Why, I thought Jones had it, or Twitchell.
Oh, not me, old man.
Well, you insisted on carrying it for Miss Patterson, don't you remember?
Oh, dear, I must have left it back at the Greek restaurant. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I did so want that idol. Don't you think you could go back for it, Mr. Dawson?
Well, yes, of course. But I wonder if I'll have time before the boat sails.
Oh, I'm sure you will if you hurry.
Certainly, old man. You got more than an hour yet.
You're sure?
Oh, yes. The steward told me.
Then I'll go at once.
Oh, that's kind of you, my dear Mr. Dawson. Now, mind you don't miss the boat.
Well, I'll try not to. Why, chances are I'll catch up with you before you've reached the landing stage.
Fine. We'll wait for you till the very last minute.
I could have throttled that supercilious Jones insisting I had time. I knew there was time, but I had no desire to run off after a heavy bronze curio and leave Jones and Twitchell alone with Miss Patterson. She was too nice a person, and, they were such dreadful bores. Yes, and I suspected them of being phonies, too. But there was no helping it now, so I made my way back up the main street toward Lazarus' restaurant, where we'd had our indigestible Greek lunch. Somehow, this main street of Mozambique looked different now in the quick African twilight. The little saloons and the sidewalks were filling with men of every nationality and color. Many of them wore knives thrust through the belts of their thin white suits. Knives that looked as sharp as the glances they threw at me. I must confess, I felt a little strange and unwanted. Then, lounging toward me in the crowd, I saw a large woman, clad in a sort of burnous, but her brown face unveiled. She had very wide lips, and they were painted scarlet. And from the corner of her mouth, she dangled a cigarette. Her eyes were heavily mascaraed, and when she looked down at me, terror seized me. I was afraid she would speak to me. I didn't know what I should do or say, but she didn't. Instead, she laughed. And the way the loiterers responded, I was convinced that they were laughing with her at me. I must say I was relieved to reach the entrance of Lazarus' restaurant.
Good evening, sir. A little dinner for the gentlemen?
No, thank you. As a matter of fact, I just lunched here today. Very good. Excellent meal.
Thank you, sir.
I left a curio here, probably under the table. Have you found it?
A curio?
Yes. Some sort of a brass god. It was wrapped in newspaper.
Oh, yes. We got him right here for you.
Oh, that's good. That's fine. I'm in a hurry to get back to the boat.
Yes, you better hurry. Pretty soon she rains.
Rain? Why, there's not a cloud in the sky.
You see. Every night she rains in Mozambique.
Well, you ought to know, but I still doubt it. Oh, here. Buy yourself a cigar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You hurry quick before she rains.
Don't worry about me. I'm not made of sugar, you know. In just the few moments I'd been inside the restaurant, night had fallen. That sudden nightfall of the tropics. I looked overhead and clearly saw the stars. Thinking what a bad weather forecaster the Greek was, I tucked Miss Patterson's silly bronze idol under my arm and started off for the waterfront. I hadn't gone 200 yards when a large, warm drop of rain splattered on the back of my neck. Then 2 more on my hat. And before I could take cover under an arch, it was raining like Iowa in April. It didn't look like it would let up soon, and I wondered if there might not be a shorter way to the waterfront than the long walk down the main street and then the long way to the left along the docks. Surely one of these alleys that turned off to the left would lead me directly to the harbor and the landing stage. So I left the protection of the archway and turned into the alley at my left. 4 steps from the main street, and I was engulfed in darkness, wading through filth and mud over my ankles. But I was certain that I was on the right track, so I walked on and went straight into a blank wall. I turned to retrace my steps, but I could see no lights anywhere. I felt along the wall until it gave into another alley, followed it to another blank wall, and thence into another one. And now I knew I was lost. And now it began to rain in earnest. It pelted, it stamped, it whipped, it stung, it flashed. In a moment I was drenched to the skin. If it was dark before, it was now black as a tomb. I struggled onward because it was too terrible to stand still and feel myself being beaten to the earth by the sheer weight of the rain. I don't know how far I walked through those foul and fetid passageways, nor for how long. But at last, feeling my way around a corner, I saw a slit of light, a horizontal flicker beckoning beneath the door, and I heard voices. I lifted the bronze idol and rapped on the door with it, and the voices stopped.
What do you want?
I've lost my way. I'm wet through, and I don't know where I am. Please let me in. Please, let me in.
Of course you may come in. You aren't exactly who we expected, but come in. Come in.
I walked into a room that was unfurnished, save for a littered table and some chairs, and a gaudy picture of the Virgin that hung on the wall. On each side of it was a sconce, in which a slovenly candle guttered. A woman was perched on the corner of the table, a heavy shawl over her head. Under it, the dark face, propped in the fork of her hand, glowed sullenly, and her bare white arm was like a menacing thing. In a chair near her, a grossly fat man was huddled, scowling heavily under thick, fair brows, while the other man, he who had opened the door, stood smiling. The woman laughed softly and pointed to the image dangling in my hand.
What is that?
I beg your pardon?
That parcel you are carrying.
Parcel? Oh, it's a curio, an idol of some sort. A friend of mine left it at the restaurant.
And you? You're a tourist from the cruise boat?
Yes, that's right. How did you know?
What are you doing here so late and so wet? The boat sails soon.
I know. I was trying to take a shortcut to the landing stage. I got lost somehow. I came ashore with some friends from second class. I left them to come back and fetch this idol, and here I am.
Give the young man a chair, Egon.
Oh, thank you very much. But I must go on as soon as the rain stops. If you can direct me...
It will not stop for a while yet. You may as well wait here.
Yes. We may be able to provide some entertainment for our second-class tourist. As soon as your friends arrive, my dear.
Friends? The police are not my friends.
You led them to us?
Would you walk about with your knives forever, while I take all the risks?
Risks? Huh.
7 months you have done what you willed, untouched. I bought you freedom for 7 months, with smiles and love. Now you take your turn. One uses a knife, one goes to prison. 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. Who knows?
You could have talked with the prefect of police again.
Again and again. And for what? Life is not spending money. One pays for living, my friend, with work. Sometimes with jail. I have paid. Now is your turn.
You could have helped us once more. Only once more and we could have been out of the sewer and on the coast of Lorenzo Marx or Cape Town.
Why didn't you? Why didn't you help us once more?
Yes, why?
Always you say once more, once more. Now there is no more.
You are a sheep pig, a defiled and debauched.
I beg your pardon, sir.
What?
That's no way to speak to a lady.
What?
I'm serious. I don't like to hear such language used to a lady. I must ask you to apologize.
What the devil have you got to do with this?
You just came in out of the rain from the second class.
Please, please. Don't fight with him. There's trouble enough already.
But what the devil right has he got to come in here and tell me?
Yesterday you stabbed the Egyptian.
What of it?
Don't stab this one. You want the police to find you here with a corpse?
A corpse?
What does it matter how the police find us? We wait for them because we have no choice. You put them on us. We should do away with you.
Why do you lie? Even to yourself. Why must you hide your own blame behind my skirts? Great Mother of Heaven, you are neither man nor beast. You are...
Don't go on. Don't you dare say it.
There. You are just a Salmak.
No one says that to me, and Cliff.
He's got a knife.
Salmak. Salmak.
I'll tear
No, you don't. Stand back or I'll brain you with this idol.
You'll do what? You think I carry only a knife?
Pig! Dog, I waited for this! He forgot. I carry a knife.
Oh. Look what I did to him with this bronze idol. Horrible.
It makes a good weapon. Your idol. It was a grand blow. A king's blow. You cannot help him now.
I killed a man with this little curio. And you've killed another with your knife. 2 men murdered. Oh, I must get back to the ship. You must come with me.
To the ship? Oh, la la. You think I'd be welcome in the second class?
Well, I don't know.
We must go somewhere. The police will be here any minute.
The police?
Yes. Come. He's not raining so hard now. The police.
Oh.
They have come for those 2. They will be on both sides of us. Here, hold my hand.
Yes.
Stand perfectly still. I will tell you when it's safe to move. Now. They are all around us so they won't hear us. Come, now.
Where are we going?
We are escaping. But if you know from what we are escaping, you would not care. Where? Hurry. Hang on to my hand. And hurry. They have found the bodies. Now they are after us.
What will we do?
There is a door nearby. We must find it. Or feel along the wall. Here. Father. It must be here.
Yes, here it is.
Push it in.
It won't budge. It's bolted from inside.
You must push it in. It's the only way.
Here. Hold the side of it.
I have it.
Now. Not yet.
Hit it again.
It's giving.
Once more. Good. My friend, my great, strong friend. Up the stairs now. Quickly.
Where are we going now?
To the roof. Wait.
Huh?
The rain has stopped.
Yes. The stars are coming out.
There is your ship out in the harbor.
I must get to it.
Listen. You hear them? We are not safe yet. Over the wall to the next roof. Hurry. Now, over to the next parapet.
Up. Oh. Are you all right?
Come up quietly.
Yes. What's that down there? A tent?
Yes. People are asleep. You must walk like a rat.
Who are they?
Who knows? If they see us, They will think you have come after the women.
Oh, but we could say...
There would be nothing to say. Someone's crawling out of the tent.
A man with a sheet wrapped around him. He's coming this way.
Yes.
Why doesn't he see us?
His eyes are clouded with sleep, perhaps.
If he sees us?
It will be too late.
Then he won't. There. And there. Well, that took the fight out of him.
Take this, my little knife. Just a prick, and he is quite safe.
Oh, no, he's still enough now. He won't harm us. I really did him in, didn't I?
It was splendid. With only the bare hands to take an armed man.
Armed? I didn't know he was armed.
Of course. Of that you may always be sure. Look, there in his loincloth.
A dagger. At least 6 inches.
Yes. You are truly magnificent, my friend. You are a man.
You are a woman.
Then?
Wonderful woman.
I was wondering when you would kiss me. When you took offenses what the Russian said to me. I knew you would. But I wondered how soon.
Yes, I suppose I knew too, in a way. At least I thought how much I'd like to... But I wouldn't have had the courage before all this, I suppose.
Courage. Your courage is of the lion. Your strength is of the great bull of Swahili.
Thank you. Thank you. I wonder if we're far from the landing stage now. I mustn't miss my boat, you know.
You want to go back to the second class?
Well, naturally. That's what I was trying to do when I knocked on your door. Goodness, I've missed my dinner as it is.
Missed your dinner? Yes, that is so. But haven't you gained something else?
What?
Me. Look. Look at me. Is it nothing, friend, that you have saved me for yourself?
Yeah, but...
You conquer men as though you were bred on the roofs of Mozambique. You fight like a hero. A rush, a blow, a tumble, and you had them lying at your feet. Are you not glad that it was all for this? For me? Oh, kiss me.
I'd fight. I'd fight for you as long as there was anyone to fight.
You would. I know you would.
You lead on.
Where?
Wherever you will.
Come.
Of course, I don't expect you to believe this. Looking back, I'm still unsure it really happened to me. It's as though I dreamed it. Well, I don't know how many routes we crossed after that. A dozen, perhaps. Maybe 20. It was mad, I know, but I must have surrendered completely to the wild spirit of the African coast. I didn't seem to see the great ship lying out in the harbor, her lights blinking with the comforts of civilization. All my senses were focused on this slim, breathtaking figure leading me across the rooftops to a shadowy destination in which only one thing was certain. She would be there. I suppose in that moment, armed only with the bloody bronze idol, I was invincible. At last she led me down a creaking wooden stair that hung precariously on the sheer side of a house. And once more we were in the mud of a gloomy alley. Even the way she slid her arm along mine and softly grasped my hand filled me with greater power than I had ever known. Hand in hand, we made our way down the alley and out into a little square where a night breeze rustled in the palms and smelled of the sea. And across the way, a dim light showed through a big open door.
The little church of San Sebastian.
Oh.
Onde pensa que você vai?
The police.
After all this?
Não tenta escapar.
O quê? É que você quer comigo?
Eu tenho ordem de prendê-la.
Por quê? Eu não fiz nada.
Veremos. Me acompanhe agora.
Vamos, capitão. Devia haver outra maneira de resolver isto.
Esta vez não pega mal. Você está presa.
What's the matter with him? What's he want?
He says he won't let me go.
The devil he won't. What's he want you for?
Oh, my friend. This little policeman, they always arrest me when they get a chance. It is tiresome.
Está bem, deixe de conversar e me acompanhe.
Listen, copper. Scram, see? Take it on the lam. Take a powder.
Caide-se, do contrário será preso também.
I said scram.
Run before I can get to his feet. No, not that way. Into the church. The sanctuary. My magnificent one, you fear no one. You fight for me, so long as there is anyone to fight.
Yes.
Now, there will always be someone to fight. They will never leave us alone.
Will they follow us in here?
These police might do anything. But I know one door they will not dare follow us through.
What is that?
Come, this way. Here. This door. First, I must wrap my skirts close. Now, come cleanly through the middle. Please do not rub the walls as you come. There. We are safe for a while. They will not follow us through that door.
Why not?
It was the door of the lepers.
The door of the...
It's all right. We didn't touch the portals. See, down the alley are the lights of the waterfront.
Yes. Where do we go now?
We have a little time now to breathe the clean air of the harbor. And then I know a little place where someone is coming. Step back in the shadow until they have passed.
It certainly was something to write home about.
Listen.
What is it?
I wonder what's happened to good old Dawson.
Oh, drenched.
I hope he's found my idol.
The idol. I must return the idol.
No, don't. My friend, this is the greatest danger of all.
Goodbye.
Don't go. Magnificent one. Don't go.
I must. Goodbye. Hello there.
Mr. Dawson.
Got here before you, it appears.
Yes. Did you find the idol?
Yes, but for a moment there, I was afraid I should miss the boat.
Oh, I say, old man, you're a bit disheveled.
Yes, I got caught in the rain.
And my idol. Oh, Mr. Dawson, you've got it all dirty.
Yes, it is a bit must. I dropped it once or twice, I fear.
Well, I think that was clumsy of you.
Oh, nothing. A little soap and water won't put to rights, I dare say.
Well, maybe. Well, we'd better hurry along. I'd hate to have to spend any more time in this dreadful place.
Oh, so should I.
Yes. There's the whistle. Now, that's the last warning, no doubt. But come on, everybody.
That's coming. Oh, Dawson, don't stand there mooning. We'll miss the boat.
Yes. Yes, in just a moment.
Say, is there someone standing there in the shadow of the alley?
I'm not sure. I thought for a moment...
That's funny, I could have sworn I saw you wave goodbye to someone.
Perhaps I did. Goodbye to Mozambique, to adventure and romance.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. Adventure, romance, in this pest hole?
Twitchell, what would you say if I told you I had just killed a man, fled over the rooftops of the city, made love to a beautiful woman, fought the police, escaped through the leper's gate...
Oh, great heavens, Dawson. I'd say you had the wildest imagination I'd ever heard of. Nothing like that ever happens to a second-class passenger.
No. No, I suppose you're right. Nothing like that ever happens to a second-class passenger. Except in dreams. Come on, Twitchell. We'll miss the boat.
Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, has tonight brought you The Second Class Passenger by Percival Gibbon, adapted for radio by Mr. Robeson, with Harry Bartell as Dawson, Jeanette Nolan as the woman, and Kathy Lewis as Miss Patterson. Original music conceived and conducted by Cy Feuer. Next week...
You were isolated on a remote plantation in the crawling Amazon jungle, and an immense army of ravenous ants is closing in on you, swarming in to eat you alive. A deadly black army from which there is no escape.
Next week, we escape with Carl Stevenson's terrifying story, Leiningen versus the Ants. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when again we offer you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Instant Ralston and regular Ralston, the hot full wheat cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are trying to drive off one of Prince Baccarati's atmosphere ships before it destroys a small submarine in the great sea of Planet X.
We're driving him off, Hap. Yes, sir. He's cut on all rockets. But what happened to the sub?
We'll take care of it later, after we've chased that atmosphere ship away.
Commander, they're firing at us.
They want to play rough, we'll cooperate. Stand by to fire space torpedoes.
We're hit!
Knocked out our starboard rockets. We're out of control.
Commander, we're going to crash!
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, the Sea Monster of Planet X. Only 9 days left to enter the Name the Planet contest.
Space Patrollers, this is Commander Corey, reminding you that you have only 9 more days to enter the Name the Planet contest and win the Giant Rocket Clubhouse and $1,500. Only 9 days left to win one of the 750 Schwinn Varsity bicycles. But that's time enough to enter and win if you act fast. First, go to your Weatherbird shoe store. Say, let's listen in on a fellow who just arrived at his Weatherbird store.
Hi, Mr. Weatherbird Man. I want a coin album and entry blank for the Name the Planet contest.
You bet, son. Here you are. And it's absolutely free. You don't have to buy a thing.
Inside that free coin album are 3 space coins and a place to write your name for Planet X. Then, just get 3 more space coins from 3 packages of Hot Ralston. You'll find a space coin in every Hot Ralston package. Put those 3 coins into the empty slots you'll see in your coin album. Then, write the best name you can think of for Planet X on the entry blank and mail it to the address shown in the album. Of course, you keep the album with the 6 exciting space coins for your own collection. But don't delay. I want every space patroller to have the opportunity to win my Rocket Clubhouse and $1,500. And 750 of you are going to win Schwinn Varsity bikes. Remember, go to your Weatherbird shoe store today. Get your free coin album and space coins. Then get 3 more space coins from 3 packages of Hot Ralston. The new Hot Ralston packages with a picture of Happy or myself on the front. And you'll be ready to send in your entry in the Name the Planet contest.
Hurry, see your Weatherbird shoe dealer and get hot Ralston today.
And now, today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, the Sea Monster of Planet X. What is the fate of Prince Baccarati? That's the question uppermost in the minds of Commander Corey and Cadet Happy as they maneuver the Terra 5 slowly over the great sea of Planet X. In their last adventure, Buzz and Happy cornered Baccarati and Dr. Malengro in a deserted city under the sea. But the prince and his henchmen slipped into an escape hatch and shot toward the surface in some sort of sealed capsule. Now, as their spaceship circles over the approximate location of the engulfed city, Buzz and Happy watch the viewscopes for a sign of the strange cylinder containing the two men.
There's not a thing on the surface, Commander. By the way that capsule shot out of that tube down there in the city, I thought sure it'd be bobbing on top of the sea like a cork.
A lot of things could have happened since then, Happy. It took us at least an hour to get back through the tunnel to the inland valley and then blast off. The chance that cylinder is more than just a sealed life raft. That cylinder might be able to submerge and move underwater.
Like a submarine.
Exactly. For all we know, it could move at tremendous speed.
There's no telling where Baccarati is now. He may be hundreds of miles away. Or he might be heading for shore to get back to his spaceship.
He wouldn't try that, Happy. For hundreds of miles along here, the coast is lined with bluffs 1,000 feet high. Even if there was a stretch of beach, there's still those enormous breakers.
Yeah, waves a couple hundred feet high at least. Besides, if he got ashore, Baccarati would have an overland hike of 50 miles to the valley.
If Baccarati can control that cylinder, he'd probably try to get back to his castle.
But that's thousands of miles from the sea.
Yes. He has a few installations close to the rivers.
That's right. If he reached one of those, he could get a spaceship or an atmosphere job.
The mouth of the Colossus River is to the east, Happy. That's probably where Baccarati would head.
Yes.
If he's underwater, it'll be difficult to locate, but we can't give up till we find him and know for sure he'll never bother us again.
Meantime, far from the steep bluffs that rim the coastline of the Great Sea, a bullet-shaped craft skims the surface of the ocean at tremendous speed. Huddled in the tiny compartment, Prince Baccarati and Dr. Malengro anxiously study the small but baffling control panel and its weird symbols.
Malengro, do something to stop this thing.
But, Your Highness, I know nothing about this ship, or whatever it is. Remember, it was built hundreds of years ago by an ancient race here on planet X.
Don't give me a lecture. Get it stopped before it carries us out clear to the middle of the Great Sea.
I can only guess as to the function of these controls. Suppose I were to touch something that would open the hatch and let the water in, we would sink immediately.
Then don't touch it. Don't touch anything until you're sure.
Your Highness will be patient. I think I can reason it out. This indicator here seems to be a compass. It's logical to assume that the wheel inside the calibrated dial controls direction.
Careful now, Malengro.
We're changing course. See, Your Highness, I was right. This wheel controls the steering mechanism.
Then head back for the shore, quickly. We don't know how much fuel we have.
Excellency, I suggest that we proceed either up or down the coast. To approach close to the shore at this point, well, we'd be dashed against the cliffs.
All right. But at least let's not get out of the sight of the land.
I wonder which of these controls submerges the craft.
What do you want to submerge for?
Corey will be searching for us, you know. On the surface, we would be fairly easy to find.
Yes, that's right. But be careful now.
This vertical lever, I'm going to advance it slightly.
We're going under. Right to the surface again. Malengro, do you hear me?
Yes, Your Highness.
Don't submerge again until you know how to control this thing.
Yes, Your Highness. But may I point out that the only way I can learn to control it is by trial and error.
Malengro, which way is the Colossus River?
We're heading roughly in that direction now, sire. Eastward.
Go up the river to my spaceship factory. If we go ashore now, we'll have to cross hundreds of miles on foot.
You are right, Excellency. The river is our best choice.
Do you think we have enough power to reach the factory?
I have no way of knowing, sire. We can only hope.
Flying in a zigzag pattern over the surface of the Great Sea, Buzz and Happy work their way toward the mouth of the Colossus River. Hours go by, and still there is no sign of the bullet-shaped cylinder containing Baccarati and Malengro.
I guess they must have sunk, Commander.
Perhaps, but let's not underrate the people that built that undersea city, Happy. Oh, we needed some help with our search.
Yes,
sir, but who's going to help us?
Why not Baccarati's own men?
What?
When he doesn't return to his castle in a reasonable length of time, they're going to come out to Crater Valley, aren't they?
I guess so. And they must have known he was headed there.
Of course. They'll find his ship. That means they'll make trouble for the natives, thinking they must have done something to the prince. We don't want that.
No, sir.
I've thought of a way to protect the natives and at the same time start Baccarati's men to searching the sea.
How, sir?
They'll go back to the valley and pick up Baccarati's ship at a magnetic holding field after cutting on the spacephone's distress signal in the other ship.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll circle back out to sea and after a time drop Baccarati's ship into the water.
Great. That'll bring a flock of his ships to search for him.
It should.
But how are we going to get Baccarati away from his men after they find him?
We've done it before, Hap. We can do it again.
Elsewhere, thousands of miles away in Prince Baccarati's castle, two men listen intently to a spaceophone signal.
That's the boss, all right, Arthur. He's in trouble.
Get a fix on him, Warbin.
I'm getting it. Out toward Crater Valley.
Those natives must be giving him a bad time.
Don't be stupid. What can ignorant natives do against a spaceship in flight?
Yeah, that's right.
Besides, he's beyond the valley. He's out toward the Great Sea.
We better send some ships out after him. Uh-oh. He stopped sending. Maybe he's okay now.
Look, Arthur, when an automatic emergency code signal cuts out, it means real trouble. He may have crashed.
Let's not sit here gabbing. I'll alert the gang at the spaceport.
Wait a minute. Hold it. This may be a chance to get ourselves in real good with Baccarati.
Wait a minute.
I send somebody else out to get the glory. We'll be relieved here in a few minutes. We'll get a ship and search for the boss on our own without telling anybody.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But if he's really in a jam and we don't tell him...
Of course he's in a jam. A bad one. If we find him, we're heroes. Big shot. If we don't, well, nobody will be any the wiser. How about it?
I'm with you.
We just won't log that distress call. There are no opportunities for advancement.
Now, in complete control of the strange submarine, Malengo pilots the craft toward the mouth of the Colossus River, while Prince Baccarati peers up through the transparent dome, watching for Commander Corey's spaceship.
We're approaching the mouth of the river now, sire. See how the headlands are flattening out? In an emergency, we could land anywhere along the beach.
All right. Does this stuff have a spaceophone on it?
I do not think so, sire.
Wait a minute. I think I see a spaceship.
Where?
Over there to the right. Just swimming over the horizon.
You're right, sire. I see it.
Submerge!
But, Your Highness, I don't think it's Corey. It's approaching from over the mainland. Corey knows we're somewhere in the sea.
Well, then it's one of my own ships.
It must be, Excellency.
I wish there was some way to signal him. This sub is so small he might not see us.
I'll increase our speed, sire. Zigzag over the water. The white foam of our wake will be visible for miles.
All right, do it then. It is one of my ships. I can tell now.
I picked up something in the viewscope, Commander. The moving object on a heading of 147 degrees, now 23 degrees low.
Headed right to the spot where we dropped Baccarati's ship in the sea.
It's an atmosphere ship, sir.
You hold this altitude, Happy?
Yes, sir.
Bob, there's only one ship. I expected 10 or 20.
Yeah, with the big boss in distress, I figured every ship on Planet X would turn out.
Possibly more will show up later. Our main job now is to keep from being detected.
Marcus, turn your scanners up to full sensitivity. We're near the spot where the boss's signal cut out.
Looks bad, Warman. It's out over the Great Sea.
Yeah. No sign of a wrecked ship. Probably sank.
Baccarati still might have made sure.
If he was lucky. I'd hate to take my chances with some of the things that are supposed to be in these waters.
They said it. You know, I hear there's a giant jellyfish.
Wait. Put that down there in the water.
The White Streak.
Well, let me adjust that viewscope. Cut our velocity, will you?
Sure.
Some sort of surface now. Shaped like a projectile.
Look at it. Oh. What's it zigzagging like that for?
Spaceship package. They want to make themselves a tough target.
Where'd it come from? Never saw anything like it before here on Planet X.
Probably some new space patrol gadget.
Now we know what happened to Baccarati.
Yeah. It blasted him out of the sky.
We better get away from here or we'll be next.
There's maneuvering down there. I'd say he was afraid of it. Let's blast him with a space torpedo.
It's going to be tough to hit.
Yeah. But it'll look good if Baccarati's ashore watching us. All right, hold this heading, Arcot. I'm going to cut loose.
to get away from here before he fires back.
Now, wait, let's make another pass. Maybe he used up all his ammunition on the board of the ship.
Commander, that ship's firing at something down there in the water.
I saw the explosion, Happy. Adjusted your scope.
Right. Smoke and rockets. There's a small surface craft down there, sir.
That's what we've been looking for. Baccarati.
But why are his own men firing at him?
They have no way of knowing it's Baccarati. They aren't taking any chances.
That atmosphere ship's coming back for another pass, sir.
Got to drive him off, Hap. I'm going to take Baccarati alive.
Sees us. He's cut on all rockets.
We'll keep after him till we run him off.
Yes, sir.
Go chase that atmosphere ship way out to sea.
Commander, they're firing at us.
They want to play rough, you'll cooperate. Stand by to fire straight.
Commander, we're hit!
Knocked out our starboard rockets. We're out of control.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
Space Patrollers, this is Carol. I want to tell you about the 750 beautiful Schwinn varsity bicycles that 750 lucky Space Patrollers are going to win in the Name the Planet contest. They're big, husky beauties. Schwinn, the best bike made. With 3-speed gear shift, 2-wheel handbrakes, and all the other famous Schwinn features. And you can win a Schwinn. But there's not much time. Go to your Weatherbird shoe store right away. If you don't know where the nearest Weatherbird shoe store is, you can find out in the yellow pages of your telephone book. So don't wait. See your Weatherbird shoe dealer and get going now on the Name the Planet contest.
And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, the Sea Monster of Planet X. Unable to locate the small submersible craft by which Baccarati and Dr. Malengro escaped from the undersea city, Buzz devised a plan to lure Baccarati's own men to aid in the search. After turning on the emergency spaceophone signal in Baccarati's deserted spaceship, Buzz and Happy lifted the ship by magnetic force field and then dropped it into the great sea. 2 of Baccarati's men picked up the signal of the castle and set out to rescue their chief. But they decided the tiny craft on the water was a Space Patrol weapon, and so fired upon it. In attempting to drive off the atmosphere ship, Buzz and Happy were fired upon by Baccarati's men. With a hole in the hull of their spaceship, Buzz and Happy are now circling helplessly over the great sea.
A torpedo tore out of starboard rocket control, Happy. We're losing altitude.
If that atmosphere ship comes back, I'll sure let them have it. Our space weapons are still in order.
Apparently they're glad to be out of the fight, Hap. They know that was a lucky hit.
We're just going in circles.
Gonna try to set her down on the beach.
With the side push of the rockets, what's to keep us from swerving out into the sea?
I'll spiral down till we're on course parallel with the shore, then cut rockets.
And ease her down with a repeller ray.
Right. I can groove her down to that long stretch of beach. It might work. This will have to be the last spiral, Hap. One more circle over the land and we'll hit those cliffs back of the beach.
You were right about that atmosphere ship, sir. It's not coming back.
Stand by repeller ray.
Standing by, sir.
When I cut rockets, we should continue on a straight course. Here we go, Hap. Full repeller ray.
We're going awfully fast for a landing, sir.
I know it, Hap. I've canted the repeller ray forward to give us some braking action.
It's working, sir. We're slowing down. Oh. Nice going, Commander.
I'd hate to have to do it again.
If the spaceophone works, we can call Pluto Space Patrol and let them know we're here.
At the same time, let Baccarati's men in on the secret. They could get here quicker than our ships could.
Yeah, that's right. We wouldn't stand a chance.
Let's take a look at the damage, Hap.
Yes, sir. Hey, that's some hole.
Yes, but we're lucky. The torpedo hit us a glancing blow and didn't explode on contact.
It sounded like it did.
It was a couple of thousand yards behind us when it blew up. Well, this is going to be a job. But I think we can handle it. Let's get to work.
Far out from the beach, a metallic object lurks just beneath the surface of the sea. Then, cautiously, a transparent dome rises a few inches out of the water. Carefully, Prince Baccarati scans the sky and then turns toward the beach.
Hold it, Malengro. Keep it just as it is. Yes, Your Highness. Corey has landed on the beach. Is their ship damaged, sire?
It doesn't appear to be. Yeah. Wait a minute.
There's a hole in the hull. Why the gash? Otherwise, it seems to be all right. Here is Corey. He's trying to repair the damage.
It's going to take him some time by the looks of it.
No, we'll wait till they're just about finished. Then go ashore and surprise them.
Excellent, Your Highness. But suppose Corey's ship is too badly damaged to blast off.
There'll be at least one workable spaceophone transmitter aboard. We can call the castle for help. All right, Malengo. Submerge. And make for the inlet on the other side of those rocks.
Its motors purring, the sleek craft moves underwater and then turns into the inlet. The dome breaks the surface as the tiny sub moves toward the shore. A gentle grinding sound tells Baccarati and Malengro that their craft is in shallow water.
All right, Malengo. Cut off the power.
Yes, Your Highness.
Now open the hatch. You know how to do it?
I think so, Excellency.
We'll have to wait ashore, Malengo. See that your weapons don't get wet.
Yes, sir. I think this is the hatch, Police. Getting it, sire. There.
All right. Boost me up, Malengo.
Yes, Your Highness.
All right. Now, come on, hurry.
Coming, Your Excellency.
Arms held above their heads to protect their weapons, Malengro and Baccarati wade ashore, hidden from the spaceship by large rocks. But their movements are not entirely unobserved. 4 pairs of eyes are on them as they emerge onto the beach. 4 pairs of eyes attached to a single barrel-shaped head. The head rises up from the quiet waters of the inlet, several hundred yards offshore. Supported by huge coils, the head rises farther out of the water, and a ripple of excitement passes down a gigantic body. Then the head is lowered until only the eyes are above the surface, and the monster moves silently toward the beach. Meantime, Commander Corey applies an atomo torch to the outer skin of the spaceship's hull.
I think that does it, Happy.
Yes, sir.
Rough job it'll have to do.
Didn't take as long as I thought, sir. I just hope we've got all those wires connected right.
We'll get back in the ship and make a final test before we try to blast off.
Yes, sir.
Take the torch, will you, Hap? Thanks. Hold it, Happy. You tend to examine the hull of the ship.
Yes, sir.
I thought I saw something move down the beach toward those big rocks.
Oh?
It might have been a large seabird, and then again it might not.
I got a glimpse out of the corner of my eye, sir. There is something moving.
Uh-huh. It's a man falling along the sand.
Baccarati.
Yes. And Malengo's right behind him.
What do we do, rush him?
No. Pretend you don't notice anything. Be very interested in the ship's hull. Then casually get into the ship as though you're going after more tools.
You want me to bring out our ray guns?
Yeah. Keep them hidden, though. We'll wait for them to rush us and then let them have it.
Yes, sir. Smoking rockets.
Are they coming?
Well, no, sir, but I just saw something else. Maybe I'm space happy. One of those big rocks is moving.
If we weren't on Planet X, I'd think I was having hallucinations.
What is it, sir?
There's no name for it. Centuries ago, on planet Earth, it would have been called a sea monster.
Yeah, but it's on land. At least part of it is.
Well, it sounds. It's moving very quietly.
Commander, it's after Baccarati and Malengo. We better warn them.
Wait. You don't know how fast that thing can move. Any noise or sudden motion might make it attack right now. Get into the ship, Hap, and bring a couple of blast guns.
Yes, sir.
Move slowly, Hap.
100 feet more, and we can rush them.
Corey's there alone now.
Keep your head down. Just keep crawling. Keep low.
What's that? Your Highness, it's a monster.
It's after us. Run, Malengo.
Right between the rocks. Run for the rocks. Help! Hurry! Help!
Hurry, Happy. Get those blast guns. Coming, Commander. It's attacking them. They've hidden between those rocks. Smoking rockets. Give me a gun, Happy. Here you are, sir.
Help! Help!
They're still alive. Monster can't reach them. Oh, if it had raised its head, I could blast it. Hold it, Happy. You might hit Baccarati and Malengo. We've got to get closer. Come on. Commander, it's trying to pull the rocks apart with its claws. I can't waste any shots on this thing, Happy. I'm going in close and divert its attention. Well, be careful, Commander. When it moves toward me, we'll both fire. Help! Commander, here he comes. Let him have it, Hap. Run, Commander, run! He's down. Hey, we got him. Keep away from him. Watch out for his tail. He's done for, sir.
Took a lot of doing.
All right, Baccarati, you can come out now.
Oh, Commander, what a dreadful creature. It nearly had us.
Commander, you saved our lives.
Yes, Commander. I'm very grateful. Why, those awful jaws came that close to me. Malengo and I were just going to surrender when that monster charged us.
Got it, Baccarati. We saw you trying to sneak up on us. Now, come on, into the ship.
Yes, Commander, of course.
Wow, I thought we'd never finish that thing, sir. I emptied my blaster.
Better collect our weapons, Hap.
Right.
No, you don't, Cadet. Stand right where you are, both of you.
Commander.
I warn you, Cadet, don't move.
Your Highness.
Don't be frightened, Malengo. Cory and the Cadet are helpless. Then they empty their blast guns into the monster.
Sorry, Commander. I had to open my big mouth.
Just keep your hands up, both of you.
All right, Baccarati. What are you going to do with us? Take us to your castle?
Oh, no. I'm going to leave you here.
Your Highness, they did save our lives.
Shut up, Malengo. I know what I'm doing. After all, they do have an even chance for survival.
You ungrateful coward. You mean you'd leave us here on this beach, miles from any settlement?
It's all right, Hap. We don't ask favors of space rats.
If you get hungry, you can eat. There is plenty right over there where you're sitting.
Yes, Baccarati. We could eat sand. In fact, you said a mouthful.
Get my eyes!
Get Malengo, Happy. Yes, sir. I'll take that ray gun, Baccarati.
Commander, honestly, I never would have left you here. I was just joking. Cadet, you believe me, don't you?
Oh, sure. And that sea monster wasn't serious either. He just wanted to play.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment.
Hiya, Space Patrollers. Cadet Happy speaking. Listen, I got something important to tell you. If you haven't already entered the Name the Planet contest, you're missing out on the biggest chance you ever had. A chance to win a gigantic rocket clubhouse and $1,500. And you're missing 750 chances to win a Schwinn bike. So take off for your Weatherbird shoe store and get your free coin album and contest entry blank. And then zoom over and get some good hot Ralston. Remember, see your Weatherbird shoe man and see your grocer for hot Ralston. And hurry up. Do it now.
And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Cadet Happy is approaching a small fortress in a jungle clearing on Planet X, where Commander Cory is being held captive by Prince Baccarati and Dr. Malengo. Baccarati glances through the gun port.
We got company. The fool, the little fool.
What are you talking about, Baccarati?
Coming across the clearing from the jungle. It's a space patrolman. You're Cadet.
Happy.
Watch Cory, Malengo. I'll take care of the Cadet with this blast gun.
Baccarati, don't.
Look, Cory. See what happens to those who defy the will of Prince Baccarati?
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Revolt of the Space Rats, when Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Cory and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Bela Kovach, Ken Mayer, Norman Jolly, Dick Fields, Virginia Hewitt, and Tom McKee. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol! This is Dick Tufeld in Los Angeles reporting on a plane that can fly 1,000 miles without refueling, the North American FJ-2 Fury. In a moment, we'll hear from the well-known test pilot on this Navy jet fighter, J. Ray Donahue, Jr. The Fury is a carrier-based plane armed with 4 20-millimeter cannons.
It flies 650 miles per hour, has an altitude mark of 45,000 feet. Its length, 37 feet. Now, J. Ray Donahue, Jr., recorded at Edwards Air Force Base.
To fly at supersonic speeds, a test pilot must have plenty of energy. That's why I always get a good night's sleep and start the day off with a good breakfast cereal like Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. They have plenty of energy, and they taste mighty fine. And I know that you'll like them, too.
No other cereal, puffed or flaked, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So take a tip from J. Ray Donahue, Jr., Bob Love, and other top test pilots. Make your cereals Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.